Yes, self-discovery and development. So what are the ways we planned to have this done? Number one is empowerment through knowledge. I want to be as fast as possible because I'm happy to announce to you that we have quite a number of our facilitators in the house. I can see, I wouldn't do the introduction. My brother is just doing the introduction, but I'm happy that our facilitator from the US is here. I can see one from Nigeria is also here, and a couple of others should be joining us. So how do we empower people? Number one is to empower them through knowledge. Number two, mentorship and guidance. Number three is purpose discovery. Number four is life skill development. Number five is inspiration and motivation. Number six is community engagement. Number seven is financial support. We're trusting God that this movement is going to be of support financially to people who have plans and they don't have the resources to actualize them. That is one of the major move of this program, to help people with the right resources, financially, tools to actualize what they want to become in life. So that's basically the process we are using. And what next program? That's it. What next program is a section of Mercy Conference. By God's grace, Mercy Conference is going to be a physical meeting, and then we're trusting God that it's coming up this year in Ekiti by God's grace, and couple of people will be there. But this is an online meeting called What Next, and What Next meeting is just a meeting set to answer questions that almost everybody we ask at the point in their life. So it's designed to address one or more of most pressing questions that many youths individual face today. What should I do next? I mean, when I finished my NYSC, I had a couple of people that reached out to me, Sample, what next? And I'd be like, I just feel like I don't know what to answer these people. Quite a number of guys are out there. They don't just know what to do. I mean, I have a couple of guys that anything they will just tell me is, I need a job. Like, I just need any job. Then in my head, I'd be like, everyone has a purpose. Is this person working in alignment with purpose? But the truth is, some people know their purpose, but the actualization of this purpose is where the problem is. Some doesn't know the route to take, some don't have the necessary resources to get them there. So that is what this program is all about. That is what Next program is all about. In about 3 minutes now, we'll be having one of our facilitators come up. So that is basic introduction of what this program is about. I hand over to Bob Joshua to do the introduction and call on our first speaker for tonight. Thank you, everybody. And also, please, make sure you get your writing materials, get it down, because a lot of information will be passed today. And like I said, there will be some financial support. So, and this criteria, there will be, like I said, terms and conditions applied. Let me just use that language. Terms and conditions applied. So God help us in Jesus' name. Over to you, Bodisha. Thanks.
All right. I should be seeing our reactions already. I should be seeing us reacting. You can use the reactions. Yes, yes, yes. That means we are here. We are ready. I hope we are ready for tonight. All right. Before I introduce our first facilitator, which will be joining us in the here tonight, I said something the other time. Just check the comment box. You will see the link here. Now you can just follow us quickly on IG, and on your screen also you should see the Instagram handle Mercy_conference. You see it. You search it on Instagram, you will see it. Just do that in the space of 30 seconds. 30 seconds. All right. Yeah. So our first speaker tonight, I will just be doing a short introduction, and then he is going to come up. Yeah, our first speaker tonight is Mr. Tayo Olatipo. He is from USA. He is presently residing in USA. He is an environmental engineer and a sustainability scientist with over 5 years of experience in environmental engineering and research. Also, he is a graduate of Resela Polytechnic Institute, the Chinese Academy of Sciences, and the University of Ilorin. Mr. Dayo is currently based in Troy, New York, where he co-founded Straight Green Card. In this role, he is on an audacious mission to create a level playing field for foreign-born scientists and professionals seeking to thrive in the United States. I should be seeing our reactions. So, with a very good, cheerful heart, I want us to welcome to the meet tonight, Mr. Tayo Olatripo from USA. I should see our reactions to the comments. Yes, I am seeing it. I'm seeing already. All right, Mr. Dayo, sir, you are welcome, sir. Please, you have the floor. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me. It's a pleasure, being in the midst of young people like myself today. And of course, over the next 30 minutes, we are going to be talking about accessing educational opportunities abroad. I've thought about different ways of approaching this session, so I'm going to make it as conversational as possible. So I would, if you have any questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat box, and we're also going to have time for question and answer. So I think it's very important to just open by saying that this is the most important thing that that young people can do. We can get very busy with our lives, and things can get quite demanding over the course of the week. But it's very important to sit down and really ask ourselves what's next and figure out what's the point of our lives and how are we able to go about it. You know, as you have seen in I'm a person of faith, so I would refer to the Bible a couple of times. But there are quite a number of journeys of battles and all of that in the Bible, and you would see men of God like David ask God, what's next? Should I pursue? Should I not? And I think that at this point, you know, this is where this kind of programs allows us to be able to think and plan strategically for the journeys that will go through in life. But let's go to the topic of today that I'm going to be talking about. I'm going to be focusing on accessing global educational opportunities abroad. A little background of myself. I lived most of my life in Ilorin, and some time ago, I think that was 10 years ago, I really asked myself what I was going to do in the university. I actually sat down and asked myself what I was going to do in university, if I wanted to go to university. So I understood something very early in life, and I think it helped me. Um, from my dad's experience and from the people that I've seen around me, I saw the importance of community, the importance of connections in Nigeria. So it's at that time I realized quickly that it's not just about what you know; it's also about who you knew. So I asked myself when I was going to University of Florida, what exactly was I going to study, and why was I going to school? So it quickly dawned on me that the university is a place where the children of the rich and the children of the poor can be at the same level playing field. So I told myself that when I go to the University of Ilorin, I was going to make as many friends as possible with the serious people. You can easily identify people that are going somewhere. And I told myself I was going to, make as many friends as possible with serious people. And that was my goal for entering university. And a lot of good things happened from there. So after I graduated from the University of Ilorin, I applied for quite a number of scholarships. I got scholarships in Europe, in Turkey. I of course also got scholarships in China, and a couple other opportunities in UK and so on and so forth. But when I went to China, I'm going to also go back to all these instances of my life, and I'll let you know how I did it, and of course how a lot of people do it, and what I think that um, although times have changed, but the principles still remain the same. And I hope by the time that we are done today, we're able to share more of this, and you have a lot to go on with. So when I went to China, I also decided that I was going to apply for scholarships intentionally now, more intentionally, to the United States, and I was able to create communities around that. And of course, myself and a bunch of my friends moved to the US, where we now reside. So just looking at global educational opportunities, there's a lot. There's a lot of opportunities out there, and there's a lot of information out there. Before, it used to be the battle for opportunities, or the journey of accessing these educational opportunities used to be about who has the best information. But the world is now very interconnected that it's hard for you to not hear about some of this information, right? And I'm now going to focus on something different today. I'm going to focus on the benefits of communities. When you're trying to do anything hard in life, when you're trying to do anything challenging, one of the most important things that you would have is, that you would need is access to the right source of information, right? And as we now have more and more information, in fact, we have information overload. I think that what is, partners in progress that we're going to use to access these opportunities. But first, let me talk to you a little bit about these opportunities, and then how you can practically take advantage of various platforms and various structures around you to make you get these opportunities. So the first thing that I would like to let you know is the structure of these programs. So, for example, you can travel abroad, you can go to school, a master's or for a PhD abroad, or even your undergraduate, through various means. Not all of them will come as scholarships, but usually a lot of them you wouldn't have to pay a dime for those programs. Some are, either need-based or merit-based scholarships. So meaning that you actually get funded your school fees and your living expenses and everything. In fact, sometimes they pay for your flight, can be funded because of your academic excellence, which is something that a lot of people know. You know that, like, if they consider you smart and they consider that you have potentials and all of that, there are lots of organizations that are willing to sponsor you. And then there are all other programs that offer need-based funding. Okay, those ones are usually very, very competitive, which means that they only sponsor you because you need help, because you need financial, because you have some financial disadvantage, and of course they are willing to pay for people who are not so privileged. And then another thing that a lot of people don't really focus on is the graduate assistantships. All right. So usually graduate assistantships focus on having schools. There's a lot of that in the US, and maybe in China and all of that. Having schools sponsor you, so they pay your tuition, they pay your living expenses, and even you can get a lot more beyond that, just because you are working in exchange for your service, for your scholarships and all of that. So you could lecture undergrad. So for example, if you're working as a master's student or a PhD student, they could make you a graduate research or teaching assistant. And what you would do in the US is lecture young, first year, second year students, and maybe through your lab sessions, or you grade them and all of that. So what I'm just saying is that there's lots of opportunities. There are some direct scholarships, and there are some pseudo employment opportunities, which means that you are basically working while you're studying. There's a lot of that. Okay. But how do you go from here? There's a lot of opportunities, and of course, lots of information online. But how do you get started today? What I can guarantee you is that it's very hard when you know what to do, but you don't know exactly how to go about it. So over time, the time-tested structure that I believe can take you to where you're going is community and relationships. And I'm going to focus a lot on that. And I'm also going to give suggestions on how you can leverage community and relationships in your scholarship journey. So when you decide what exactly you want to do, let's say you want to become an environmental engineer, or you want to become an electrical engineer, or you want to become a computer scientist, developing artificial intelligence systems and building models and all of that. When you decide what you want to do, and you decide that you need to go to grad school to get to where you're going and all of that. The next thing you want to do is to, and you have the information, okay? The next thing you want to do is to create a structure around it, to create a community around it. First, I will talk about the relationships that can help. The most important thing that I believe for that can help young people go to where they want to go to is mentorships. You understand? And usually, not everyone would have the time to mentor you, or not everyone would would have the time to hold you by the hands and all of that. So you need to use systems. You need to use some platforms. For example, just going to go on LinkedIn. If I'm able to share my screen, I could just make a couple of demonstrations and all of that. So if you have a dream of, let's say, going to grad school in the US, and you know that there are quite a number of people that have done this before, that have done this in the past. One thing you would want to do is to go on LinkedIn to find a Nigerian. All right, thank you very much for that, Mr. Olapelumi. To to go on LinkedIn to find a Nigerian who has done that thing before, okay? And then you would add them on LinkedIn and send them a message that you would like to connect and learn about their career journey. You get. Now, you can do this to 20 people, or let's say 50 people, for example, right? And if only 5 of them accept you at the end of the day, that would have been progress. And you can do this over time and maintain connections with people who are going to where you're going. And one of the things you're going to see eventually is that even on your LinkedIn, once you log into your LinkedIn or something, what comes on your LinkedIn will be all those scholarship opportunities or the kind of things that they are currently doing. And after a while, you can ask them how, if they have a few minutes to talk to you and how they got to where they are right now, and they can share their personal stories with you. So I'm just going to make a simple demonstration. Give me a moment to share my screen, and then we can have a conversation about, other parts of the session. Let me share my screen. All right, so I already did this. But again, I can, just restart. So this is my LinkedIn account. And let's say I'm trying to get a PhD student, right, who is working in, who is currently in, I tried Cornell the other time, but let's say, please let me know if you can see my screen. I think I should have confirmed that. Can someone let me know if they can see my screen?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
That's perfect. So let's say that you're trying to go to, Cornell University or Harvard University or MIT, right? And you're trying to look for a PhD student who is PhD student, Harvard, Nigeria. So you're going to search for those keywords and you will find people, and you go under people. And of course, you start to connect with them. So this person is not in Harvard, actually. This person is in Stanford. But yeah, let's just say that we are looking for someone in Stanford, right? So you can connect with them. And for the purpose of this, I'm just this person is in Harvard. Okay, let me see. Yeah, she's in Harvard, you see, right? So what I'm going to do is oh, this is Stanford. What I'm going to do, she was an RA at Harvard. That was why it brought it and all of that. So what I'm going to do is to send her a message. I'm going to connect with her. And of course, I'm going to send her a message. Hi, Ololade. I'm in Itaya. I am currently I'm a graduate of, I don't know, Federal University. University of Technology, Akure. I would love to learn about your career journey. To be excited to be connected on LinkedIn. Yeah, so you just regard that or whatever, right? And then you click on send. I'm not going to do that. Um, but that's what I would advise you to do. So you might want to do that to quite a number of people, and let me touch it. You might want to do that to quite a number of people depending on where you want to go to. So first thing that you want to do is to build a community of individuals, to build relationships with individuals. That's the first thing. The second thing is also to join a community of individuals, because it inspires you to do what you're going to do. The Bible made us to understand that when Saul was in the midst of prophets, he prophesied, and people were asking, like, is it also among the prophets? Like, when you are in the midst of people who are doing the same thing, it infects you. It affects your passion. If you're in the midst of people who smoke, it it can make people develop bad habits and stuff like that. But the point I'm just trying to make is, when you are in a community of people who are doing the same thing, it helps. So one thing that you want to do is to get connected to folks who are going to where you're going to. So number one, you might want to get connected to them on a personal level. The second thing you want to do at this point, of course, is to second thing that you want to do at this point is I'm getting distracted by the presentation, so you might want to stop that. Yeah. So the second thing that you want to do is to join a community of individuals who are doing the same thing. So there are different WhatsApp groups that focuses on people, looking for scholarships in Europe, the Erasmus scholarship, Commonwealth scholarship, and so on and so forth. And there are also people who are, sharing scholarship opportunities, in the US and so on and so forth. So first is you join these groups, and you don't join the group as a passive member. You don't just join and then, say, okay, I don't like talking on groups. You should let go of those at this point. Okay. You want to make sure that you join groups and you're active, you ask questions, you talk to people, and you're very engaging on those groups. Okay, this is your life. This is very important. This can mean a lot. This is a big deal. So you get serious with it. You join groups where they talk about scholarships, where they share links and opportunities, but don't just join groups where they share links. Go to groups where they are very engaging. Okay, there are lots of WhatsApp groups that do that. And one thing you're going to do, you might also want to join those groups where well ahead of time. If you know that you want to travel out next year, you might want to join them this year. And one thing you're going to do is you're going to see people who are active and who are asking questions and stuff like that. And they are going to get to that point, they get that scholarship or they get that opportunity, they travel out. That kind of thing, inspires your faith. It reignites your faith and inspires your belief. It makes you know that this is possible. So that's one of the benefits of community. Because at the end of the day, if you are just grinding and you want to access all these opportunities and all, and you don't see people get it, it feels like a pipe dream. It feels like something that cannot be possible. So first, take advantage of communities, be very active, also try to contribute. No matter what you have or what you currently are doing, no matter what you don't have at this point, you can always volunteer in communities like that, if they need things. For example, Mr. Olakolumi needs hands that would help coordinate the program and all of that. Volunteer. You get always volunteer in communities that you find yourself. When you see that people are serious and they are going somewhere with their life, volunteer. So on those groups, you can also volunteer. Yes, if you see some information or some links that people would need on scholarships, you can also post it on that group. Be very active. All right. And another opportunity that you can use could be Nairaland, forums like Nairaland. There are quite a number of them. Forums like Nairaland, and so on and so forth. I think Scholarship Cafe also handles that. So what you want to do is there are various threads that talk about scholarships abroad and all of that. So one thing that you want to do is to start scrolling through those threads, read people's experiences. You can also ask questions sometimes from them and all of that. You can send it some questions via DM, while you can send some of those questions, via the general thread on Nairaland. You understand? So I could, let me see if I can get that very quickly. Naira Land accessing scholarships abroad. I'm going to share my screen right now. There are quite a number of things I would have loved to share, but of course, let me see. So a second. So Naira Land accessing scholarships abroad, right? I think I even wrote one at some point. Let me see. Naira Land bagging. I think I wrote this one. My name is Dayola Dipo, the Nigerian diaspora. Yeah. So yeah, but the point I'm trying to make is you can always read people's stories, and then of course you know ask questions. You see how they got there and all of that. And one interesting thing is, one funny thing about it is there are quite a number of people that would be asking questions, and you see that, oh, they really don't know about all of this. And when you scroll and you check, a few months down the line, they now know what they are doing. A few months down the line, they're now talking about visa interviews. A few months down the line, you see that they've been approved for their visa, and then they're talking about their flight, and then they're also talking about their new experience in that country. It helps you see stuff like that. Like, it's very helpful. So Nairaland is a very great place to get information, but beyond information, you need a community. Another thing you can do, besides joining the community, is starting a community. Okay, so you can start a WhatsApp group and say that, okay, we are going to the US, or we are going to China, or we are going to access opportunities abroad that have to do with this, graduate school and all of that. And then, of course, all of you are newbies, but everyone starts as a newbie. Okay, and you talk about scholarships. You share links and all of that, and then you give yourself goals. Maybe this week we are going to send emails to professors abroad. We are going to send 50 emails. We keep ourselves accountable, and then you start sharing your experiences, what worked, what didn't work. If a professor is agreeing to fund you, and so on and so forth. I think I may be overstretching my time. So I would like to know from the facilitators if I have done that already and how many minutes I have. Anyway, so one of the things you want to do, of course, is to create a community for yourself and then have goals in that community. Sorry about that. So it's to create a community for yourself. Yeah, it's to create a community sorry about that. I didn't remember to put my phone on silent. Yeah, so one of the most important things you want to do is to create a community for yourselves, and then of course keep each other accountable. And another thing you might be able to do is maybe when you've gotten folks on LinkedIn to accept you and all of that, you can invite them to talk to people in your community and give you more information. And sometimes they can even give you specific information about people who need PhD students in their own school or in their department and all of that. That happens a lot. So you don't underestimate the power of community. Don't underestimate the power of people who are serious about what they want to do, and of course are trying to get there as a team and all of that. So yes, I think that this is the time for question and answers. I would like to definitely I would like to know if I'm not overstretching my time. There's a lot to share, but could you let me know how much time?
Sir, you can still go on with 5 minutes, sir. 5 minutes more.
All right. Thank you very much. So another thing that I would love to do is, of course, to paint the picture of how some of this work. When it comes to scholarships, generally scholarships, they are paying for your tuition, and sometimes they pay beyond that. What you want to do is apply directly. You can apply directly on their links and stuff like that, and submit your application materials. Sometimes you need to prepare for those things, well ahead of time. So, for example, if you know that a scholarship, you want to apply for the Commonwealth Scholarship next year, what you want to do is to go on their website this year and start preparing to figure out, the picture of the kind of person they take. So one thing you might want to do is, if you figure out that someone has a Commonwealth Scholarship, You can also go on LinkedIn, you type, Commonwealth Scholar, and then you check, you might filter it to Nigeria, and then you find Nigerians that have won Commonwealth scholarships. And one thing that you might want to do is to give yourself time. You look at their profile on LinkedIn, look at the kind of things that they've done. Give yourself time. You can give yourself the next 1 year to build like they have built, to have some of the things that they've had and stuff like that. And then with time, you can also check the website of Commonwealth and all of that, Commonwealth scholarships. And then you can start preparing your essay. You can start writing stuff that would help you prepare for that program or for that scholarship application window. Now, by that time, you are going to be competing with people who are prepared for one. You understand? But you've given yourself the advantage of time. And of course, you can also speak to Commonwealth scholars, like what did they think they did well and stuff like that. So again, you can also connect to Commonwealth scholars, just the way I showed you how to connect with PhD candidates in the US and all of that. You can do that on LinkedIn. So when people are preparing for a week and stuff, you have prepared for a whole year. So it gives you a very high level of advantage, right? And apart from that, for graduate assistantship opportunities, what people usually do is professors in the US will ask you to they would need students. Maybe a professor is teaching, for example, data structures, in computer science. And a professor cannot just in the US, in Nigeria, a professor can do that. But a professor will not just teach like 30 students or 52 students and stuff. A lot of them would need graduate teaching and research assistants. All right. So one thing you want to do is to send messages to professors and tell them that, oh, my name is Dayo Ladipo. I'm currently I'm a graduate of computer science from University of Lokoja and stuff. And then I have the passion for data structures and X, Y, Z. I've built this, I've done that. And you tell them I'm looking for a graduate assistantship in your lab or in your department and stuff like that. So it's always better to have conversations with people who might give you a leg in. Just the same way connections, are everything in Nigeria. Connections are everything over, all over the world. So I would say that you should take advantage of connecting with people. People like to employ who they know. People like to give opportunities to those that they can trust and all of that. So you may also want to, reach out to professors and ask for educational opportunities abroad. Let me see my notes here. Do not look at my notes all the while. All right. Yeah. So another thing that you might want to do is to read their work. So for example, if you want to go to, let's say, Harvard, and you have a particular professor that you want to work on that, one thing that you want to do, of course, is to take your time to study their profile and to read their works. Because you're going to be doing 50 of that, you might not, or even way more than that, you might not have the time to read like a lot of their works. But there are definitely tools that you can use. You can use ChatGPT to summarize their research and stuff like that, and then just to have an idea, so that when you're sending them a message, you are not sending a generic message. You're not sending a message that you can send to 50 other people. You're sending a message that is streaming their experiences. And so another thing that you want to do, there's a lot to talk about, but I think that when we have questions and answers, then I can address your questions more specifically. Thank you very much for your time.
All right, sir. Yeah, thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. We've learned a lot. Yes, about the question and answer, I have a question here sent already. The question goes thus: what are the necessary documents required to have and tests that are compulsory to take if we are applying for a scholarship? That is the first question, sir.
Okay, should I take them all at once, or I should just write them down and then take them one after the other?
That is the only question I have here, but if you have a question, please drop it in the comment section now so that our facilitator can just take every of the question once.
Okay, while people are trying to take their questions down in the comment section, I'm going to answer that one, which I believe is a very brilliant question. When you're trying to apply for various opportunities, sometimes you're going to see that they need you to write IELTS, they call it IELTS, right? They need you to write IELTS, and or they need you to write TOEFL, or some, either GRE, or something like that. But the most important thing that you should understand at this point, give me a second. The most important thing that you should understand at this point is that usually there are two different levels, there are two different kinds of tests. There are some tests for competence, okay? They want to know your aptitude and how smart you are and all of that. And there's a test for, the English language proficiency. So they want to know whether or not you can speak English. And when you travel out of Nigeria, you're going to find it interesting that a lot of people cannot speak good English. So usually when they ask for IELTS or they ask for TOEFL, usually they are trying to make sure that only people who can speak good English have access to that opportunity. Sometimes they can waive those for you. So it means that they can require that you write TOEFL or IELTS, but as a Nigerian who has studied all their life in English, they can waive that opportunity for you. But GRE, Graduate Record Examination, is also an exam that you can take. You get. Some schools also waive the GRE, but one thing I'm going to tell you generally, as much as possible, I know that a lot of people don't want to hear this. As much as possible, try to write these exams. Okay. The reason why I'm encouraging you to write the exam is that a lot of people are thinking about how to avoid the exam. So by writing this exam, you are able to apply to more opportunities, like many more opportunities. It's very inconvenient to go through the process and write the exams and have the fear of failing, and stuff like that. But if you put yourself through that process, it gives you a really huge level of, it's like you're way ahead of your peers, you're way ahead of other applicants, because every other person is also thinking about how not to write the exams. Okay, so it gives you more opportunities, you're able to apply to many more places. What do you need? You need your transcript. Okay, yeah, more important than your certificate, you need your transcript. So, and then of course a lot of these opportunities require that you write essays. Don't write the essay a week before. Take your time to plan it and all of that, and give it to folks who have actually won it. And I can almost guarantee that there will be, it's you would always find someone to give you insight, and to correct your essays and all of that. So you take your time to write your essays. They usually require that you write essays. They call it sometimes personal statements, or statement of purpose, research statement, and all of that. And then of course you need your GRE scores, your TOEFL scores, but whatever you need will be dependent on that specific opportunity that you're going for. Some don't require any language scores, a lot do, and some will easily waive it for you as a Nigerian. But even if you can waive it, I would suggest that you apply and you get it. I I think I've done justice to that
Yes,
question. We have
yes. We have a question here. It said, how can we go about cold emails?
All right, that's a
Right.
very good. Yeah. So for code emails, essentially means that you're sending an email to a professor who you are trying to work with, and that's what I said. So one thing that you want to do is check their website. Check their website. Look for what we used to do that back then. There was no ChatGPT and all of that. Check their website. Look for maybe the last couple of papers they've written. You can read it, or read the abstract of their papers, and then write an email that, dear Professor Matthew, I am writing to express my interest in being a graduate student in your department. I have currently, I'm very passionate about, let's say, soil biochemistry, and your work on, then you mentioned their paper particularly intrigues me. Then you can even ask a couple of questions. I have a few questions regarding that paper and stuff like that. And if you are looking for a graduate student, I am willing to apply for the fall 2021 session, and so on and so forth. So that's one way to do that. But another thing that you could do without reading their papers, I would say read their papers. But to make it quicker, you can still just like um provide some of their abstract and all of that on ChatGPT, and then ask ChatGPT to write a very short code email, like a one paragraph code email. Don't let it be long, please. Uh, and then edit it and send it to the professor as you like. But generally, try to read their profiles, try to read their paper and all of that. But again, artificial intelligence systems make you able to write very much quicker and stuff like that. But you should edit it before sending it, please, and know what you are doing.
All right,
So
sir. Thank you very much, sir. I'm very sorry for cutting you short. For everyone that's just dropping your questions, we are sorry we can't answer your question now. But after when all the facilitators have spoken, then we can raise your question back, or we are going to send the question directly to the facilitator, give us an answer, and you get a reply from us, because we have scheduled this meet, so we don't want to go beyond scheduling. So thank you very much, sir, Mr. Tayo. Thank you very much, sir. Really appreciate you. Really appreciate you. Mr. Taiwo, please, we want you on board for just a minute summary. A minute summary.
All right, thank you. Thank you for having me. And want to appreciate our speaker. Thank you for the brilliant delivery. Thank you. God bless you. Well, everything said and done. One major thing that really um was heavy upon me was that he said the power of community. Power of community. Your gathering, your association, those who you work with really determines or really affects you. Yeah, he said that actually, and I grabbed that. And we have to work towards our purpose and our plan. We have to set up ourselves well. We have to, excuse me, we have to search. We have to put in much effort to get this thing done. There are a lot of opportunity out there, and he said something very profound. Access to the right informations will really go a long way, which is very true. We all have our mobile phone, we have data rather than going on TikTok and watching all sorts of things that are not relevant to us. Can just go on LinkedIn, Netherlands, as they have shared with us, to look for opportunities that will really benefit us. Thank you, sir. We are grateful to have you around. God bless you, sir.
thank you very
All
much.
right.
Really
Thank
appreciate it.
you. Thank you so much, Mr. Dio. This is a good one. And to those that ask questions, please, all questions will be answered, please, by God's grace. But we just have a schedule for the whole program, and we don't want to just go beyond that schedule. So that's why. So I'm sorry about that. All questions will be answered. Those that still have questions, please just note it down in the comment section also. All right, over to you, Bro Joshua. So, let me state this. That question, what next, that Mr. Dayo just answered, is for those that are willing to further their educations, that are willing to have masters and PhD. So that is what he handled. So if you have questions on that, just drop it. All questions will be answered. That's definitely a promise. So over to you, Bro Joshua. Our next speaker is going to enlighten us on how we want to, let me say, multiply any wealth we have acquired. So at a point in our life, we will start earning a penny, no matter how small. So she's going to be the one that will enlighten us on how we multiply this. All right, over to you, Joshua.
All right, thank you very much. I want us to do a little shout out to Mr. Dayo. I want to see our emojis. Thank you very much, sir. Once again, thank you very much for that insightful section. Now we'll be going to our next speaker. Just a little introduction. Here we have Mrs. Samson Rachel Rafmilade. She is a meticulous audit and tax consultant who works with a middle-tier financial consulting firm. She graduated from Adekunle Adashin University with a bachelor degree in accounting. She has a certification in human resource management. She is currently at undergoing her ICANN, that is certification professional level, and she works with ADBC Odoride and Company Chartered Accountant. She is also a businesswoman and the CEO of Seller Stores. Our passion is seeing the younger generation living up to the expectations of God and living a life of dominion. I should be seeing our reaction already. We are moving on to the next speaker. I hope she's here already. She has joined the call. Yes, she's here. So now we'll be welcoming to the mic Mrs. Fumilade Samson. You are welcome, ma'am.
Thank you very much, sir. Good evening, everyone. Hello. Good evening,
Good
everyone.
evening, ma'am. Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, man.
Good evening.
Welcome.
Good evening, Ma.
Thank
You're
you
welcome,
for
ma.
this opportunity. I do not take it for granted. I do not take it lightly at all. I hope we all can hear me.
Yes, ma.
Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am. We can hear you, ma'am.
I also want to use this opportunity to thank all the facilitator of the What Next program. I actually trust that the Lord will actually bless us. And a very big shout out to Mr. Dayo for that wonderful section concerning our education, What Next. Thank you. We are greatly impacted. Now, straight to the business of the day, what's next when it comes to our finance. It's very, very easy or common for everyone to leave school and their what next when it comes to settling bills is, I think I need to get a job. I think I need to find a means of livelihood. But beyond that, one thing I actually have seen over time and I would want to point our attention to is the fact that a whole lot of people go into the world, start working without being financially literate. When a man is a financial illiterate, no matter what he is, everything still goes down the drain. He lives with little or nothing to show for what he has earned over time. So in this few minutes, I would just want to enlighten us on that part, what next. Now, you can just start this session, financial management. What next? Financial management. As Brock Belumi said the other time, how can we maximize whatsoever comes to us? Our young age, I believe I'm speaking to young persons, and the young persons between the age of 20, 30s. One thing I wouldn't want to bore us with or pressure us with is how to get to the state of financial stability now, because this age is not the age of becoming financially stable. Nothing good gets done quickly or over time. Everything that actually looks big today started very, very little. So I understand the principle of process, which is very, very important. And I think that's one thing our generation also lack. Understanding the fact that no matter how far we want to go in life, everything still boils down to understanding process, living within the confine of process, even as the Lord also lift us up. Now, one thing I want to point our attention to is the fact that our age and time as youth is a season of building financial structures. Except financial structures are built now, we wouldn't be able to become that big picture within that we actually have within us. I remember growing up, a whole lot of us we actually feel, don't worry, when I'm done with school, I'll start making big money. But you realize that in this our present age, there's no amount of money that you make that is actually big enough, because the world actually have a bigger responsibility awaiting you, a bigger bill awaiting that amount that looks so big to you. I do hope I still have people following. Please, can I just see our reactions and, if possible, our comments? So, down to building financial structure. This season and time is actually when we determine how we want our earnings to be spent, how we want our income, whatsoever comes to us, the areas we want them to flow into. Because except we actually do that now, the more we earn, the more we will definitely spend. Meaning that if a man has not set structures in place while he was earning in hundreds of thousands, or let me say in tens of thousands, the same way that tens of thousands keep flying away and he cannot really account for it, it's the same way his hundreds of thousands will also fly away. One thing that we can not overemphasize is the fact that the older we become, the more responsibility those age also beckons on us. One, and also as we go by the day, we realize that our expenses are ever increasing. They are never reducing, except you are intentional. So when it comes to the areas of finance, just note this word: financial structure is very, very important in our early days. You actually should be able to account for how your money is spent. One way of doing that is ensuring that you are the one who determine where your money go, not you wondering where your money has gone after it has been spent. Many of us, if we are asked, can you actually have a recap of how you spent the last money that came in the last 3 months? Some of us really can't pick pen and paper to write them down because we just spend as they come. But it only takes a man who has a structure to be able to account for whatsoever has come in, whatsoever inflow he had in the last 3 months. So those are the things that actually make up for this part of the seminar, whatness. So I would want to pinpoint some areas where I would actually want us to focus on, God helping us. And one of it is the act of penning things down, keeping record. And that's just the simple principle of accounting. Whatsoever comes to you, as small as it might be, try and have it recorded. Because if it's not recorded, then you really wouldn't know how much the Lord has blessed you with. It's the Lord that blesses us. There's nothing we have that we've not received. We understand that whatsoever comes to us is because the Lord is sending that blessing to us. So if we fail to keep record of what flows in, then we wouldn't even know how well we've been blessed. That's one. And a man who really can't say this is the extent to which the Lord has blessed him or her would always feel little, would feel I don't have enough. One thing with life is that there's nothing that is ever enough. We only try to live within the confine of our means, or we actually try to maximize whatsoever we have. If we have more, we will do more. So there is no point to get to in life that it's enough. If wealth or riches is actually ever enough, we wouldn't have a man like our president running for anything, because I believe that the stage he had gotten to before he actually get to the seat of that consistency presidency rather, he has whatever he needs. But you realize that there's nothing a man have that is ever enough. So what is he still doing there? That's the question some people are actually asking. Like our Nigerian president, I mean. At least he has been a governor for 8 years. He has so many wealth, but it's never enough. So when we keep record, then we will be able to understand that the Lord indeed is faithful and committed to blessing us. And the second principle I also want us to pay attention to is the principle of proper planning. Now, I said our season, our stage, our age is actually a time when we actually put structures in place. Now, structures in what sense? One, it's important to be able to plan how we want to, whatsoever comes into us, how we want it to be spent. Now, we should be able to plan for our daily expenses, our pressing needs, family needs. And one thing with young people is that we fail to realize early that in whatsoever we are planning for, as soon as we start earning, it's important that we also start planning our retirement as soon as we start earning. The reason being that failure to do that early makes us to work ourselves out, and you get to retire when, except you are working with organizations that actually have policies, you get to retire when you are no longer useful to yourself. You realize that because you did not start planning early, you get to spend everything you in one. Okay, the second principle is principle of proper planning. That's budgeting. Planning whatsoever you want to spend. Do you get? So when you are planning this, you plan your savings, you plan your expenses, you actually include your retirement plan also into this. Because most times before I started working, there was one thing that made me detest white collar job. I wasn't a fan of white collar job because I realized that a lot of people actually work themselves out, not because they find pleasure in what they are doing, but because they see it as a necessity to work. Because if they don't work, then they don't really have anything to fall back to. You plan your investments now. With your little earning, you know what is actually flowing into your savings account, your expense, your utility, like your normal running account, your expenses. Then your retirement can also stand in for your investment. Because when people actually lack things to fall back into, they are afraid of losing their job. They are afraid of living the confine of a workplace where they no longer find satisfaction. So it makes it very, very difficult for people to find pleasure in what they do. It's one thing to still be at peace with your work. It's another thing to just be working because that's the only way to make ends meet. So the principle of planning, budgeting is also very, very important. Like we cannot overemphasize that. People, a whole lot of us actually spend as it comes. There are things that we could easily overlook, but would put our hands into them just because we feel we have enough now. You shouldn't dip your hands into any expenses that exceed your income. You shouldn't dip your hands into any expenses that equate your income. You should actually spend lesser than whatsoever you in, like lesser. So your expenses should actually take the least amount when you're actually setting proportions of your spending. Proper planning, that's the principle of proper. And another one I actually want to talk about is learning self-control. That's principle of contentment. When people actually fail to live with that consciousness, contentment, scripture actually helps us to understand that godliness with contentment is great gain. Now, when people actually fail to understand that, they actually want to be like everyone out there without understanding that those who are there didn't get there in a day. Like those who are there didn't get there in a day. So things like that actually make people wear themselves out. I do hope I'm communicating. So I don't mind me. I'm actually in a kind of confined environment. Looking at the time. So moving on, you realize that a lot of persons they're not doing things because that is who they are, but they are doing it because they want to look like others. Now, you don't know the years those people actually put into those things that make it easy for them to carry out certain things. You can't start spending like Dangote's child because they are actually eating from the labors of their fathers. We all didn't start the same day. Our wealth and our um financial journey didn't start together. It's no two man on it actually have the same background and the same story. So that part, contentment, also help us to reduce our financial pressures and tensions. I hope helping us in that. So what next? In summary, as I'm almost run out of time, is that when it comes to our finances, structures is one thing we should actually set out as young as we are. I wouldn't want to bore us with find a good job. No, our young age. And another thing I also wouldn't want to forget mentioning is the fact that these are young states, our young age. We shouldn't run after get rich schemes. I do hope I'm communicating. Sorry. Like I wouldn't encourage us to dip us and get engrossed with all these get rich schemes that are flying around. Even scripture actually helps us to understand that what they're actually gotten quickly, they fly away. Is as simple as easy as that. So nothing that is up. Like when things actually jump up, comes up suddenly, then you can expect it to vanish suddenly. But when things are built over time, you realize that they are sustained. Just the principle of normal building structure, construction, when they are built up, they stay up. But imagine a man jumping up. The way he jump up will surely jump down. So we really can't base our financial strength or structure and stability and security on get rich scheme. No, this season of our life, it's important that one of the investments we actually look into is investing in ourselves to become a better version of ourselves. That part should also find find its way into our planning, like the plan of our spendings, because you really wouldn't say you are planning an early retirement without investing in yourself, investing in becoming a better person, investing in things that actually bring you more income, things as little as that. I do hope we are getting me. So it's important
Yes,
that
yes, yes.
Yes,
okay,
ma'am.
thank you very much. So it's important that we actually trust the Lord that He will help us to focus more on structures now, such that the more our income keep increasing, we don't have more of our money going into our expenses, but rather they will still fit into the structures that we've actually laid down. If it's 20% that works with you for your saving monthly, you realize that because it is a structure, nothing shakes it. And another thing that having that financial structure also help us do is that it saves us when we actually have emergency fund and emergencies, situations of emergencies. You really don't get disturbed. There is no one who doesn't have challenging times when it comes to finances. But it's only take a man who has actually prepared for days like that, not to be shaken beyond measure. There are times when the demands might just be as little as an 100K. But if you don't actually have a structure in place, that you have a place where you can take an 100K from, then you'll be disturbed. Also, very importantly, I also want to encourage us to also be careful. As good as borrowing borrowing is good, but not good for us now. It's good. I wouldn't encourage that. As young persons, we should engage in borrowing when we don't have an investment that can pay back that borrowing. What do I mean? A young man who does not have an investment of over a over a million naira doesn't have a business, like doesn't have any reason to borrow any amount close to a 1 million naira. You should only borrow when you have an investment that can pay back that borrowing. It's as simple as that. You realize that people like Dangote, they'll tell you that they are living on borrowing. Yes, it's easy to say that they are living on borrowing, but go and check them. They have investments that can pay back their borrowing. That's why they can comfortably borrow from banks and things like that, because one way or the other they wouldn't rob themselves of sleeps because they went to borrow, or think of running away because they know that they cannot pay back what they've borrowed. We only borrow when we have that confidence that no, there's a means of paying back. I do hope we've been blessed. Now, one of the questions that I'm seeing here says, sorry, I don't know if I can start taking questions now.
Yes, ma'am. You can take questions now for the next 5 minutes.
Okay. How do we record our spending? There are a whole lot of ways to record our spending. Now, the focus is not we recording our spending, but we planning our spending. You spend only what you prepared for. The only expenses that can actually happen when you've not actually planned for it is maybe emergencies. But when you actually have a proper budget in place, then you are not caught unaware about borrowing spending a particular amount. No, you know that okay, you already prepared to spend so amount. So that's question, how do we record our spending? The focus of this section is not recording what you spent, but planning what you intend to spend. But when you want to keep record, you can actually use apps. There are a whole lot of apps, and you can also take note also on your phones. You can actually have a book dedicated to maybe your planning, your budget, and things like that, such that your money doesn't dictate where it wants to go. You dictate where your money goes. And the next question: how do you maintain a balanced finance structure? Or is it okay we experience fluctuation in our financial structure? Now, financial structure isn't it is 10,000 naira I'm going to spend. No, it's actually using, let me say, a ratio kind of analysis. Maybe 20% of my earning is what I spend on so thing. That's actually how that system work. Maybe it's 10% of whatsoever comes to me goes into my savings, goes into my investment, goes into supporting family, goes into my career, goes in. So that's what that question tend, that's what the system tends to address. Now, in Nigeria today, we cannot really tie a fixed amount, but when we actually have a fixed ratio, it will help us fit our plans into that budget, what is available, the available resources. I do hope I answered that question. Now, having this principle highlighted, but you are without a capital to set up business. Now, setting up business for me first comes with passion and desire. The question is actually broad. I do hope we would actually have another time to actually go into the area of business, because capital for business is not the first thing, and it's not the major principle for a business to actually succeed. Go and check a whole lot of startups in Nigeria. I haven't sampled other country, but a whole lot of startup in Nigeria that have capital, but without having other requirements, end up folding up in less than a year. A greater percentage don't even get to the second year. So beyond the capital is other principle that are actually needed for startup. As a student who depends on their parents and he or she is willing to venture into business, applying all these principles, how can she or he set up the business? Please, I would love to address this later because time won't permit us. My institution whereby someone is unable to keep money personally will spend it out within a GV to unnecessary things. What is the way out? Keep your money where you cannot easily access it. It's as simple as that. There are a lot of fixed deposit scheme that can help you manage that situation. When we talk about saving is not putting your money under the bed. It's not putting your money in a regular account. It is putting it far from you, such that you actually have to go through a kind of rigorous part to get access to it. So that one, it is safe where it is. Saving is not your piggy bank under your bed that you can wake up in the middle of the night because you feel like drinking, let me say, nutri milk or fresh air. You have to break it. No, that's far from saving. So other questions will be addressed in due time. Thank you very much, facilitators, for having us.
Thank you very much, Ma. We appreciate your time. Let us show our reaction that yes, we've gotten something. Yes, I can see our reactions. Thank you very much, Ma. Before we move to our next facilitator, in 1 minute, Bro Taiwo, please come on board and give us a short summary in 1 minute. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Ma, for that beautiful information. We are really blessed. She said something profound. She talked about there is nothing that we all have that can be enough. One of those things we learned when we started our economics class in SS1 was that the needs or wants of a man are insatiable. And she made mention of something, contentment. Now, the two things mentioned will really save us as a youth from embarrassment, financial embarrassment. And I have learned something from Pastor Olumide Emmanuel. He said, when you jump up, you will come down. But when you grow up, you will stay up. He made mention that we are still growing up. We should not expect our finance to be robust like those businessmen who have started over the years. But the little we have, when we are accountable with it and we can put in financial structures, we will really make a lot from it. Thank you for having us. Thank you for coming to share your insight with us. God bless you. We are grateful. God bless you.
Wow, it's a great one. Thank you so much, Ms. Fumirade Sabsin. Thank you so much. This is a great one. I'm sure every one of us too were blessed. We are sorry that the lectures are short. We are considering time, and then we have about 2 more facilitators to go. All right, moving to the next facilitator. This is my dear brother, and I wouldn't want to talk too much. You will get to know him as soon as it starts.
Hi guys, can you guys hear me?
Today, whatever we have become is from the help of God and the help of great complaints, like Mr. Dai have said. So, but Joshua, please, I'd love to welcome my dear brother as he comes on board.
Thank you very much. In just 30 seconds, Mr. Godwin Oloshola.
Can you guys hear me? I'm not sure what 30 seconds is for.
Software engineer who resides in Canada.
Okay.
Mr. Godwin brings a wealth of experience in developing great technologies. He have lectured in different technology schools like Decagon, etc. in Nigeria before moving to Canada. We are fortunate to have Mr. Godwin to join us today.
All right. Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Clearly, sir.
Yes,
Okay,
perfect.
that's great. Thank you.
You are welcome, sir. Thank you.
Okay. I guess probably yours. So I would like to share my screen. I'll just take us to a couple of things. I think these sessions have been very, very powerful. I like what Mr. Dyer said about Neraland. It's always nice to hear people talk about Neraland anywhere I am. In my own opinion, Neraland is greater than Twitter. Probably a lot of you wouldn't agree because you guys are Gen Zs. So it'd be nice for you to check it out. To be nice. And also thank you to Mrs. Sampson. I think that was also very insightful. I wish I heard this maybe like 6 years ago. I used to have this perception around, I don't believe in savings, right? And it's nice to hear that. So I think I would just talk from my heart, and I just have a couple of things that I want to point out to us. And I was thinking about what to actually like title this section, and I will be calling it "Chatting Your Paths." Right? Just move on real quick to the next slide. So quite a number of us, we are probably like graduating from university at this point. Some of you are probably done with NYSC. Maybe some of you are done with your WAEC. I'm not very sure what the demography of the room looks like, but I'm so proud of you. It's not easy for you to stay in school for 4 years. It's not easy for you to go through NYSC, the whole rigor, and now you're done. And just like me, the few months before my final exam, I was stressed. I was very, very stressed. I was thinking about what life was going to be like after school. I was already pretty much thinking about that. While I was in school, I was sure my parents were going to send me money. And for some of you that probably are scholarship students, scholarship is going to be giving you. But now you're about to graduate, you don't know what's going to be happening there. You hear a lot of people talk about like labor markets. And then for some of us that are fit inclined, they'll be telling you it's a great market out there for you. There's a lot for you to concern yourself about, right? I just want you to know that I'm super proud of everybody that's through like this process. 4 years, NYSC, you're done with like whatever stage of life you're in, like right now. I don't take it for granted. I think it's very, very nice. Just as I said earlier, anxiety is normal. It's fine for you to feel stressed at this point. It's fine for you to feel the way you can. Some of you, your parents have already told you, to buy BSE, no, that's like it. Once you're done with like NYSC, or probably once you're done with your BSE, you have to go and figure out what the next step is for you. All right. So that's enough for you to stress yourself over. You know what your elder siblings went through. You know what your neighbor went through. You know what that brother on your street is going through because he's a graduate too. He's graduated, and it stresses you. It's fine. I also went through that. Probably Mrs. Sampson went through it. Probably Mr. Dyer went through it. So we all most likely have gone through it. So it's fine for you to feel this way. It's fine for you not to know what you want to do next, like right now. When I was in university, I would hear a lot of people come talk to us and be like, oh, you have to find your purpose in life. And honestly, right, I've attended so many services, so many conferences, and at the point I didn't even know what my purpose in life is. So it's totally fine for you to not even know what you're doing next, like after this stage of your life. It's totally fine. So now you're probably asking yourself, what is next? You're looking up to like your friends, Kilele Veshe after school, Kileni Veshe, what's like the next step here? You're looking up and down. And for some of us that are staying in school environment, we know there is cheap food in the school environment. That's one of my favorite things about being in school. I'm a graduate from University of Ilorin. If you have 100 naira, you go see something to chop. If you have 200, you see something to chop. If you have 500, you see something to chop. Like it's just nice that that stress of food was not necessarily there, even if it's pop or something. But now you're probably like leaving that environment and it's stressing you. It's fine. You're asking that question, what is nice? You're looking for support, you're looking for tips, you're looking for assistance, you're looking for guidance from this person, from that person. It's totally fine. I went through it. I went through it. I really like the session from Mr. Dayo because it was pretty practical. And what he was showing was something I even did too. I was reaching out to quite a number of people. What do you think I should be doing? I want to learn from your story. You have 30 minutes to jump on calls. Let me learn one or two from you. So it's totally fine. We have all been through this. That is what I just want to establish like right now. What you're feeling like right now is totally normal, right? So I want you to know as at this point in time, as you're about to graduate, you have to choose a path. As you've graduated, or you're about to graduate, or you're about to be done with NYSC, or you're about to start NYSC, whatever your situation might be, you have to choose a path or a path will choose you. That's just the bitter truth. If you're not deliberate about a path that you want to go through, a path will choose you. Circumstances will choose a path for you. You'll just probably be here in like 5 years and then you discover that, I wish I did this like 5 years ago. I wish I did this like 3 years ago. Things will just still pan out the same way. It is still going to pan out if you are not deliberate at what you want to do. So if there is something that I want you to take out of this service today or this session for me, is for you to know that you're going to choose a path. Make up your mind that I'm going to choose a path. Make up your mind that I am going to be deliberate about choosing a path. I'm not just going to let the path choose me. Life is not just going to happen to me. Circumstances is not going to be what is going to choose my direction, right? Be deliberate about it. Tell yourself that you are going to be choosing a path today. And how do you get to choose a path? I understand the situation that quite a number of us might be in, you know. You probably are stressed financially. You don't have any help from anybody. There is no rich uncle anywhere. Mr. Dyer was talking about connections. It's very true. You don't probably have any connection from anybody. Nobody's going to tell you there is Ayetiwani, civil service insane, Musiviewa. There, your Bale in your village is not going to call you and be like, there is space now. House of Rep, Ponwas is now. That is not going to happen to you. I know that was not going to happen to me. So you have to pretty much be deliberate about it. And how do you go about it? You have to have two plans at this point in time. You have to have what I would call a short-term plan, and then you have to have what I would call a long-term plan. I think this is pretty descriptive, but you could probably like read through what I have on the slide like right now. You have to choose something that would work for you for the next 6 months or probably a year. And then you have something that will probably work for you for the next 5 years or 10 years and above. The reason why this is important is because if I probably like ask somebody to unmute themselves like right now and be like, oh, what do you want to become in life? You will see that your dream is very, very audacious. What you want to become is very, very amazing. It's difficult to get there. It's difficult for you to say you want to become the MD or probably MTN. Or you probably say, I want to have my own business and I want it to be in so and so country, facilitating stuff for like millions of people. It's very difficult for you to get there. In the meantime, while you are working towards getting to that 5 years or probably 10 years, you need a plan that will put money in your pocket for 6 months or a year. You need something that will keep you going for the next 6 months or 1 year, right? You need to actually work on that. I don't know if it's going to be you deciding that you want to just do something in terms of, I just want to teach for like next 6 months or 1 year. I would encourage you to, why you don't forget that thing that you want to achieve in the next 5 years or 10 years. If that stuff that you're trying to get to in the next couple of years is so big, it's like so stressing and you can't achieve, have a short-term plan. This is what my short-term plan is, right? For somebody that wants to go to, let's say, that wants to probably become a PhD candidate eventually, you know that you probably have to spend the next couple of 6 months or 1 year writing GRE, writing IELTS or something. For some of you that probably imagine yourself becoming a software developer like me, probably like 5 to 10 years, you know the next 6 months or 1 year of your life would actually be spent studying like ridiculously, like audaciously, just forgetting everything and just be like, oh, this is what I want to do for the next 6 or 1 year. So I'm asking you as at this moment, what is that thing that you want to become in the next 5 to 10 years? And what is that thing that you can do to keep yourself alive, to keep yourself going for the next 6 to 1 month, 6 months to 1 year? I'll move on real quick. And I want to just share some bit of actionable steps for you. Now you want to think about how do you want to go through the next 6 months? How do you want to go through the next 1 year? Why you still want to pursue that thing in the next 10 years, 5 years, right? The first thing I would advise you to do is for you to turn down the noise. Like, just tune it down. Turn it down, tune it down. Avoid the distractions. Those your friends that are probably like just always around you, not giving you and not giving you time for you to think about yourself, right? Tune it down, step back a little, just take a step back, avoid social media, avoid whatever meeting you're going to. Take a step back and think about yourself. Think about what you're doing. Step back from every kind of pressure that you're going through, like right now. Just take some time. I don't know if it's probably going to be like a month for you. I don't know if it's going to be like a week for you. Take a step back. I believe most of us are Christians, and then there is something that we in quote call retreats. Do that retreat like right now, and don't be your retreat. Don't let it be typical. Oh, I want to go and pray. I want to go and fast. Let that your retreat be the fact that I want to stay away from a couple of things. I want to stay away from people. What is going to be the end result of my 3 days retreat is the fact that I want to have a 6-month plan. I want to have a 1-year plan. I want to have something that I want to do in the next 5 years or 10 years. I hope this was super explanatory. I apologize if I'm talking too fast, right? But I just want to ensure that I don't overuse my time. Another actionable step that I would want us to do is for us to research and seek guidance. I would tell us a very, very interesting story as of right now. And I believe this is the most important thing that you have to do. This is the most important step for you. If you have not been listening like so far, I would advise that you listen like right now. I'll tell you a story. So we can take this home together. I want you to know that the first step is important. Stay away from distractions and all that is very, very important. But this is the most important part. This research and seeking guidance is the most important part. I'll tell us a very, very good story. So when I told us earlier that the step that Mr. Ayo showed us, it was something I did. And then I started to talk to people. When I was in school, we used to have some of our alumni come to us. So I could be in 200 level, and then they would say, oh, this person graduated 2010. And let's say that was like 2014. And then this person came to school with like a car. Oh, this person is rich. So that means if I graduate by 2016, that means by 2020, me too, I should be able to have a car if I do the same thing that this person did, right? I would talk to quite a number of alumni. I would go on LinkedIn, chat with people. Guys to like just know their story, guys to like just know their journey. And something I found is this, something that made me sort of like sit up with this. I discovered that their story intertwined in some ways. I discovered that their help or their situation, the normal ones came from one, your family members. If you are currently going to look through your family members, you're probably going to look through your older siblings. If you're probably going to look through your uncle, your auntie, your cousins, and then there is nobody life like there that you can sort of like emulate. There is nobody life like there like right now that you can sort of like feel like, okay, this person is in a place that I can get to. You have to sit up. Pure fact. If you can look through your family, look through your Bukwola family, look through your family like right now. Ogunsola family, look through your family like right now. Are you seeing any of your cousins that is probably doing something you like? Are you seeing any of your cousin being that person that you currently would like to be? Maybe in the space of 5 years, maybe in the space of 10 years. If nobody is there, you need to sit up. That's the first one. The second one I found was some of them got their help or their big break from their neighbor. If you look through your street like right now, and there is no brother that is probably doing something that you would like to do in the next 5 to 10 years, you have to sit up. If your next door neighbor, maybe their father, maybe their mother, is actually not doing something that you would like to do, if probably everybody in your area, they are all in the same category, you need to sit up. You really do need to sit up. If there is nobody that is taking actionable steps, that is taking steps that even you can align yourself with in your street, in your area. I miss those guys that you play ball with. I miss those people that you watch football with. I miss those people that you go to the same hairdressing salon. I miss those people that you guys go to the same store to go and buy food from. You need to take serious steps. You need to take this very, very seriously. And then the last one I found was whatever association you believe in, whatever association you belong to. And for us, that is church. If you look through your church like right now, and there is no brother or there is no sister that is doing something close to what you would want to be in the next few years, in about 5, 10 years, you are in trouble. You need to sit up. So sadly for me, I look through my family. No disrespect to my other sister who is here cheering me on. I look through my street. I looked through my church, and I couldn't necessarily find anybody that was actually doing something that I could see myself doing in about 5 to 10 years. And I knew I need to take actionable steps. I knew I need to change my mindset. I knew I need to like meet new people. I have someone that is very, very dear to me. And one of their major achievements or one of their major let me say, one of their major top truths from university that I used to abuse them about is the fact that this person used to pride herself about being in a clique. Oh, me and my 5 friends. That was like our greatest achievement. Me and my 5 friends. Who are those your 5 friends like right now? Who are those your cliques? What exactly are they hoping to become? Are they actually going in the same direction that you're planning on going to? If they are not, you need to start meeting new people. You really do need to start meeting new people. Mr. Raya helped us so much with LinkedIn. I don't think I should probably talk too much about that. And you need to be ready to use Google to think about whatever it is that you want to be doing. Attend programs. It's nice for you to be here. Attend more. Meet people. You're currently here like right now. Probably you take it upon yourself that you're not going to live here without actually talking to somebody new. Make a new friend today. Spend the next 1 week and say, oh, I want to talk to you for 30 minutes. Just hear the person's story. Hear where the person is coming from. Hear where the person is going through. Tap into your alumni network. This one was very, very good for me. I actually met quite a number of good people through this, right? So what I did, which is similar to what Mr. Dyer shared, was I went on LinkedIn and I looked for people that I studied computer science in the University of London. And I looked for people that studied computer science. I graduated from my school, maybe like 2006, 2010. I graduated in 2016. So I looked for them and I shared my story with them. It was very, very relatable to them. And most of them actually did reach out. I think I met quite a number of influential people through that. Because imagine this, I graduated probably like, I think 8 years ago. Imagine you're just graduating like right now. I have too many stories to tell you. I have 1 or 2 ways for me to tell you about navigating. So I met people that were probably like graduated 2006 and all of that. And they were able to like help. They were able to share things. And once they hear what I am trying to do, they also like impressed and then they want to help out. And then I also listening in my my fellowship back in school. They used to mention this brother or this sister. I go and look for them. I'm like, I've heard too much about you from school. I really need to get on board with you. So big step, in my opinion, is the most important step. And I'd like to add that quite a number of females get this easily, and quite a number of females don't know how to make use of this the most. Boys is a little easier for us, but for girls, it's harder for you guys, and it's often like the easiest for you. I understand that most people that come up to you in terms of females, they are often trying to come look for a relationship. So you can't necessarily tell the good ones and the bad ones. But don't close your eyes on everybody. Some people are just there to just kind of like help. And pure fact, people tend to help girls more than they help guys. Pure fact. You can argue with whoever it is you want to argue with, but I'm just going to tell you the truth. People tend to end females more than they end males. And you will see that these girls that don't know how to actually make use of this opportunity the most. They don't. An average person, I will talk to some of my female friends here, and they will tell me the kind of people that have stopped by for them to just enter into their car. Oh, I met this pilot. I don't know any pilots. I've never met a pilot. Oh, I was talking to this pilot. I was talking to this person that claimed that they were working at Chevron. I have never met anybody that worked at Chevron. But females, they have this opportunity. And I'm not saying you should start doing whatever it is. No. Just make use of this opportunity. The opportunity is there. It's not about you selling your body or doing what you are not expected to do as Christians. No. This opportunity is just there for you. Utilize it. Utilize it a lot. Another thing I would probably like add in terms of this is for you to try go to new places. Places that you've probably not been to before, where you can actually get to meet people. The best you probably can go to right now would probably be, you go down your street, hang out with some guys at the junction. Try somewhere new, try somewhere different. Go to like a restaurant somewhere outside your area. Just go sit. Try see if you can probably like spot people. This one do with caution because you might end up spending too much money and it's totally not on me. So another one another actionable step that I would want to enjoy you to try is this. I dare you to fail. I dare you to do something that would involve you failing. I think I would like to chip this in like real quick. If you graduated with a first class or a 2-1 and you are interested in studying, if you are still interested in studying, I'm not saying if you want to jackpot, that's not what I'm talking about. Virtually everybody wants to jackpot on this call like right now. But if you're still interested in studying, you graduated in 2-1, graduated with a first class, I would dare you to take what Mr. Dayo said very, very actionably. Like, try it out. You probably have gone and picked the University of Ibadan's form. That shit is for somebody. You have graduated from school and then you finished NYSC and you have gone and pick up form of Learning Masters. You have pick up Unilag Masters. You have pick up UI Master. Forget all that. Just try what Mr. Dayo is saying. You will see that it's you gongo that they are looking for in all the schools that he's been talking about, right? And you gongo long one, but it's your turn to probably like take up some of this thing. And most of us will probably not do it because you are like, maybe I would fail, maybe they will not accept me. Just try it first, right? Just try it. I dare you to do something this year that would involve you failing, something that you know that there's a possibility of you failing. Just do it. Don't concern yourself too much about the failure. There is something to learn from it. I just dare you to try it. I dare you to fail. I dare you to try something this year that will fail. If there's something else you probably want to jot from my session, like right now, is the fact that I'm asking you to do something that you feel is bigger than you this year, and I dare you to fail at it. I just want to add something else because I feel like there are probably some of us that are doing NYSC, or probably some of us that will be doing for NYSC like soon. And I think this is very, very important, right? NYSC period is like a very, very nice period. You are getting free salary. I think maybe it's 32,000 now. I'm not sure how much it is. Hopefully they would improve it soon enough because minimum wage has increased, right? You are getting free salary. You are getting 1 year. You're getting free salary. And most of us just use that 1 year to do nothing. We don't necessarily know what we want to do with it. Utilize that 1 year. Utilize that 1 year to meet people. Utilize that 1 year to actually plan what the next of your life is going to look like. If you don't utilize that 1 year during that NYSC period, you would end up having to start planning your life after NYSC. And at that point in time, there's going to be stress. That free 33K that you're collecting will no longer be there. It will no longer be accessible. But right now, you're having that free salary. Plan what the next step of your life is. If it's going to be you trying to think about, oh, I want to go do masters outside the country, probably start planning it within that 1 year. If you're probably thinking about getting a career in a particular field, start thinking about it within that 1 year. NYSC is your opportunity to taste the labor market. So you probably graduated, let's say microbiology, and now you are trying to find a job, but you are seeing that there is no job. Nobody is hiring microbiology. Maybe it's time for you to start strategizing. What's my next short-term plan going to be? What is my next long-term plan going to be? Utilize this. It's an opportunity that I would encourage virtually everybody to utilize. I'm wrapping up like right now. For those of you that are doing NYSC, or probably going to be starting NYSC like very soon, have a plan for your NYSC. Have what you will probably be saying, this is what I want to achieve at the end of my NYSC. And I wasn't too sure if I was brought here to come talk about tech, and I'll probably just encourage you guys with what your next step should look like. So I'm just going to add one or two things regarding to tech, because I happen to be in tech. There's a popular misconception around tech like right now is the fact that you get to make money easily. It's very, very true that you would get to make money. And it's very, very true that you will probably get a fulfilling career from working in tech. You'll probably get to work with like the smartest people. You probably have like the best opportunities and all of that if you try out tech. It's very, very true, but it doesn't come easy, right? For some of you that are probably not knowing what your next step might be like, I would encourage you to pick up something in tech. It doesn't have to be as difficult as programming. Just start from somewhere. It is going to come good. It's going to come good and very, very useful for you sometime in the future, right? So I'm just chipping this year. Whatever it is you're thinking about doing, I would encourage you to. There are quite a number of opportunities for you to get into this. I will probably tie this up with what I said about I'm daring you to fail this year. If you're looking at tech and you're like, this thing is too hard, me that I struggled with chemistry, that shit is for somebody too. I studied chemistry. How can my brain carry programming, or how can my brain carry tech, right? I dare you to fail. I dare you to just try something new. I'll tell you, I think when they introduced me, they mentioned that I taught at a particular school, right? I was with them, I think 2020. And what they did was they got some people and then they will put them in a house. They will give them free food, free internet. They don't have to go anywhere. They are just there. And then when I spoke to quite a number of those students, they would tell me, oh, I studied political sciences. Oh, I studied something not even tech related. There is one of them that is happened to be a software developer like right now that me and ended up getting along very well. And she didn't study. She wasn't even a science student from university. She wasn't a science student from secondary school. I mean, so it's possible you try it. You could fail at it, but if you keep going, there is a prospect for you there. The market is not as amazing as it used to be, but that is the same thing for like virtually every field. So I don't care what you studied. If you want to consider this, please do. Please do. It's going to be very, very helpful. And I think that will pretty much be the end of it for me. I would just want to leave with this final thing, this final question. And that question is simple. Is anybody coming to save you? This question, I would want you to just take like 5 seconds and just think about, is anybody coming to save you? If you know that your uncle or your auntie is senator or somebody, your uncle is manager of this place and they have promised you this or that, you know that somebody is coming to save you. So no problem, you are good. But for me and you, that we know what our father and mother they went through, and you know that you do not want to grow up in Alagbado, you do not want to marry in Alagbado, you want to move out of Alagbado, enjoy life on Neki and all of that, right? Is anybody coming to save you? If your answer is no, you have to be ready to do something. You have to be ready to take actionable steps. These steps that I've described, you have to be ready to do them, right? You have to be ready to sacrifice your time. You have to be ready to sacrifice friendship. You have to be ready to take more steps than every other person. And so I'll leave you with this: is anybody coming to save you? And that would it. That will be it, pretty much. I hope I've been able to at least impart in 1 or 2 people. And I'll be signing off. Thank you very much, guys. I would be sharing this slide with Mr. Pelumi. So if you're interested in it, you can definitely ask him, or probably just drop it in your group and you guys can probably go through it at some other time. And that'll be about it. Thank you very much for listening. Thank you for enjoying my ranting here and there. It's been nice talking to everybody.
Wow.
Thank you.
Wow. Please, I hope to have a lot of reactions now. Like, this is a lot. Like, this is a lot summarized into a short time. I mean, I'm just trying to wrap my head around everything. Like, this information I really broad. Thank you so much, sir. So we want to just do this quickly before we have our next let questions be coming in, please. I hope we should have a lot of questions. And this question, like our father, like our brother has asked, is anyone coming to save you? Like, that thing is just ringing in my head. Like, I hope I'm asking somebody to like write on this call. Is anyone really coming to save you? Like, is somebody already promising you heaven and earth? Like, is one person coming to deliver you? I don't understand. Even Jesus going, he has come already. The second coming is come and take you away from this world. So, is anybody really coming to save you? So before we have our next facilitator, we'll just do this for the next 5 minutes. So if you are here, we'll be picking Sister Shionfumi, please. Can you just stop raising your hand, please? Let all questions be in the comment section. We're going to answer all the questions. Okay, good. So we just want to, first 3 people that raise up their hand, we want you to tell us what you have learned so far. Just want to do this for just 5 minutes. All right, Sister Shionfumi, number 1. We need 2 more. Okay, Mr. Adetoye Paul, 1 more. Okay, Sister Dokas, thanks. All right, so over to you, Sister Shionfumi. Just omit your mic. In just 1 minute, tell us what you've learned so far and the challenge you are going to, like, what you have challenged yourself to do now after these TV facilitators. Over to you, Sister Shionfumi.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for all the facilitators that have spoken so far. Sincerely, I've been blessed starting from the first lecture. So I learned that we can easily get, or there are some steps to take in getting scholarships. To me, I really don't believe in scholarships, but this has already poked me to try and get something done on that. And the second speaker, sincerely, on the terms of financial structure, I've gotten a lot from the question that she had answered. Then the last speaker, actually, sincerely, is a Gen Z person, and he has already made it so easy for us to not bother on depending on anybody. Nobody's coming to save us. So this has already geared me to look at some spaces, some things that I'm starting to rewrite my goals. Actually, my goal is changing. Every of my plans won't change right now, and I want to say thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much for that. Mr. Adetoye Paul.
Good evening, everyone.
Welcome, sir.
Okay. sincerely want to thank the convener of this program because it has actually been impactful, and I've really learned a lot, starting from the first speaker. And actually, I focus more on the scholarship stuff because I actually didn't really know that I could gain much prospect from LinkedIn before. So I learned about LinkedIn. I learned about the essays, how to go about Neraland. I never thought that Neraland is that broad, or not until even the third speaker spoke about it. So um for the financial advisor too, and for the third brother too, it has been actually wonderful. And I have, like Sister Shionfumi said, I have rewritten my some of my goals too, and some parts I want to take. So that's it. Thank you all.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much. All right, Miss Dorcas Popola, over to you, ma.
Good evening, everyone. A big thank you to Mr. Dayo, Mrs. Fumi, and Mr. Godwin. So tonight I've learned a lot, like a whole lot. I have written down here. And the thing is that we have most of these sites, like Mr. Dayo said. I even have LinkedIn on my phone, but I didn't know what exactly it entails, like what benefit I can get from it. But tonight my eyes have been open to them, and I'm going to like start working on them very well. And to the last speaker, Mr. Godwin, okay, like he has, well, how can I put it? He has brought up my passion again concerning tech. Though it's not easy, but at least I have it in mind now to start up tech again. So that's another thing I learned tonight. I've gained tonight. Thank you.
Thank you so much. All right. So all questions will be answered, but our last facilitator will answer the two questions here. I have one in my DM here. The person don't want to share. I don't know why, but I will read the question. But before that, let me read the one we have in the comment section. So, trying tech, what's the duration of learning UI UX, and what do you think it might cost, sir? Mr. Godwin, sir.
Okay. I'm happy you're trying tech. That is very nice. I'm excited about that. And UI UX is a very, very lucrative field too. It's amazing. So I'll just answer your question. The duration for learning UI UX is totally dependent on you. I don't think I can give you like a duration. And but what I would want you to know is this: if you probably are thinking it's going to take 1 year before you get it, and because of that you're not going to do it, that 1 year will come and it will go. So I would advise you just start, right? And about the cost is totally depending on you, how rich you are and how poor you are. So if you are very, very rich, that means you are ready to like pay people to actually teach you. It's more convenient. But if you are not rich, you can get everything for free. The most beautiful thing about tech, in my own opinion, which makes it better than medicine, is the fact that you don't need to go pay some ridiculous school fees for anybody to give you certificate. Also, no, you can get actually everything just there online. You can start up with YouTube, start up with just asking people resources here and there. And I think right now, internet is, I think, more affordable than it used to be back then. Before I could download something of 1 gig when I was trying out, we would have to pray. We would have to go to some long distance, right? But right now, I think you can easily just download stuff like 1 gig. So depending on you, I would encourage you not to choose convenience. I would encourage you to do your own research and look for places you can get some of this free. And about the duration is totally depending on you, how much time you're putting into it, and how you actually do structural learning. And I hope that pretty much answers your questions.
All right, thank you, sir. Mr. Cass, how can I learn tech on my own? The extent at which I've learned so hard to know. Okay, which I've learned so hard to know. What's the easiest way to learn tech?
I wish I had an answer to this. If I had an answer to the easiest way to learn tech, probably everybody would be involved in tech in one way or the other. I wouldn't say any way to learn tech it's easy. That's like something you just have to know, like at the back of your mind, like right now. Heck, getting into tech is not easy. You could actually learn and then you find it very difficult to get your first job. But it's not easy. You just have to be ready to roll up your sleeves, just be ready to do the work that is required there. So sadly, there is no easiest way to learn tech. But one thing I would encourage you to do is this, right? Don't look for people that have been in tech for 10 years. Don't look for people that have been in tech for 5 years. Look for people that have been in tech a year or two ahead of you. People that are probably they're taking just one step, not like 5, 6 steps ahead of you. Those people will be able to guide you even more. You'll be able to see their journey and you'll be able to tailor your life after their journey. If I tell you my story like right now, you probably won't be able to tailor your life after my story. But somebody that started out like last year, you probably will be able to tailor your life around there. So as Mr. Ayo said, community is very, very important. So do try to look for like a tech community for you to get yourself involved with, and look for resources online. There are too many of them online, right? One of the things that I think I did back in university was I gave up movies to just be watching tutorials. It was like the very, very crazy thing I did back then. And I think maybe that's what I meant when I was one of the points that I was talking about, turn down the noise, right? So it could probably be you just saying that, okay, this resource I want to consume it within the next 1 month. If I'm saying I'm tired, this is what I am going to be consuming. So you just have to pay the price. It's not easy. I don't think it's easy in any ways. That's it. Hope that helps, Sister Dokas.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Okay, before Mr. David question, how can someone keep going? Wait, okay, we have 2 minutes. How can someone keep going in his or her tech journey when his or her big brother who are in tech don't really believe in the person? How should the person not let it take him down and give up?
Okay, this seems more like a personal matter, right? It seems like, So I mean, no disrespect to you, David. So I think this is something you probably have to just go pick up with your big brother. You should just go talk to this person, ask for wisdom from God, I believe, and probably we could talk about this. It would be nice for me and you to connect and see 1 or 2 things. But one thing I would just add, real quick, a little outside this is this, right? I don't think you should need anybody to believe in you for you to achieve anything you want to achieve. You just need to believe in yourself. It's easier for you to have your mother and your father believe in you, have your girlfriend believe in you, have your wife believe in you, have whoever it is believe in you, have your community believe in you. But no, I don't think you need all of that. You need to believe in yourself. The reward of all of this is coming from you alone. Like the reward of this is only going to come from you. So you need to find ways to keep motivating yourself. Wake up every day and keep motivating yourself. I'll give you a very, very good story. I think in my 3rd year, right, I was listening to selected musics, and every day I had like this particular motivational video that I was listening to like every day. I don't care what my routine was that day. I would listen to it. I could be in Korokwe back in the University of Illinois, and I'm going home, and that's what I'm plugging. It's for about 15 minutes or so, and that's the only thing that is shouting into my ear. So I'm not going to forget where I'm coming from. That's like the most important thing to me. The sacrifice I'm paying us at this point is probably going to reap reward in the future. So I'll tell you to be your own number one fan. I'll ask you to love yourself first. I'll ask you to believe in yourself first. And forget the noise. Forget whoever does not believe in you. Shock them now. Shock them after some years now. Tell them now you don't believe in me. I don't make now. Go buy events. That kind of stuff. That's it.
All right. Thank you so
That
much,
was
sir.
good.
So we have about 3 other questions, but it will be after the last facilitator comes up. Thank you so
All
much.
right, that's fine. Thank you
So,
very much.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Thank you, sir. So, Mr. Joshua, can we have the next facilitator?
Yeah, seriously, tonight I've been blessed. I've been blessed a lot with all the facilitators. And I hope others too on this call, this meet, you have get one thing or the other from this meeting. There are a lot of virtues that have been put out in tonight. Summit. Can I even call it summit? I can call it summit. I can call it a meeting. Yes, but most importantly, I just want to chip in this is that we should make sure that what we are getting from this meeting tonight, we make use of them. That is the most important part of it. It's not for us to just pick it up or just leave it where we edit, or maybe as you are just listening to it now, you do not take any step to move further on what you've learned. So please just try to do something. As Mr. Godwin has said, he said, "This is your life. Be your number one. Be the number one fan of yourself. Yes, and in the next future, you will see where you are. So now, quickly, we'll be having the fourth facilitator tonight in person of Ms. Akitola Opeyemi. I'll be doing a little introduction about her, and she'll be coming in thereafter. Miss Adetola Opeyemi Ayola is young, vibrant lady helped by God. She studied pharmacy technology from Lagos State College of Technology. Also proceeded to Ekiti State University to study pure and applied chemistry. She works with Lagos Health Service Commission, where she works as a pharmacy technologist. He is the convener of Kingdom Vessel Network, where building kingdom-minded community is what the Lord has assigned. I want us to start clapping our hands, show up reactions as I will be welcoming to the microphone Miss Adetola Opeyemi. You're welcome, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mr. Aditunji Joshua. I am so happy to be here
Welcome,
tonight.
ma'am.
I want to first of all appreciate the convenience of this amazing conference. It's a very beautiful one. I must commend every of the conveners. I also want to appreciate the facilitators that have actually spoken before me. Like, I made sure that I listened from the very beginning, even till now, up until now. Every of the informations that has been passed across since the beginning of this conference has actually been very, very, explicit. And I pray that we would never lose our relevance in Jesus' name. So
Amen.
quickly, I also want to appreciate, yeah, once again, the convenience of this program. It's actually a very good and insightful one. And we want more of this. We want more of this. Please kindly look into it. Okay, so without wasting too much of our time, I would be talking briefly on what's next after disappointment. I'll be using more of praise the Lord because I'm used to it. So just take me like that. So what next after disappointment? Quickly, I just want to share with us what disappointment is. And in a way, I would be sharing from personal experience. Praise God. I don't know. I mean, I'm used to direct conversations, but then we would work with this. Disappointment. Looking at my what I have on my slide here, disappointment is a negative emotion you feel when an outcome doesn't match up to your expectation. And one thing about disappointment is that it is characterized by feelings, characterized by loss. It could be due to anything whatsoever. And one thing I want us to understand is that disappointment can actually happen to anybody, and it is one thing that is very much inevitable in the journey of man. Praise God. So disappointment is something that we cannot pretend or cannot outshine that probably hasn't happened to us before. It is something that every one of us must have experienced or will still experience in the journey. So let me just go with this. Disappointment, most disappointment actually happens due to failed expectations. There are so many at times that we already have expectations from human beings, from probably relationships, from one loss or the other. At the end of the day, if it doesn't work the way at which we expected it to go, it causes something like an heartbreak, it causes something like a breakdown, or and what may you. One thing about disappointment is that when it happens, it causes a total shutdown. Medically, if you're not careful, it causes what we call depression. It causes depression in one's health. And depression is one thing that when it happens to someone, it is something that you now begin to manage for a very long time, because it is not something that actually has a particular cure. It is something that you have to keep managing and managing. So now the question is, what's next after a disappointment? What's next after you are faced with something that you never expected, and just caused a total shutdown in your emotions, mental health, and all of those things? What happens next? I think the first thing we need to acknowledge is the fact that we need to understand that that pain is there. Let me remove my glasses for proper communication, so that I can actually speak so well. So one thing about disappointment is that it breaks us down totally. It causes a total shutdown if one is not being careful with how he or she manages his or her emotions or mental health. Now, just hold on a bit. Hold on a bit. So now, firstly, after disappointment, you really need to acknowledge the pain. Now, I want to actually share a particular experience that happened to me sometimes early this year, towards late last year and early this year. I got the biggest shock of my life. It was not something I ever expected. But then it just happened. It happened because even in years to come, I never expected to face something like that. And the first thing that happened after that thing set in was denial. Like, I didn't accept the fact that there was a disappointment, there was a pain, there was a hurt, there was an heartbreak. Many a times we all want to prove like we are strong. We have this thing that they call she, like we used to feel like we have this shield that nothing gets to me, nothing nothing can actually penetrate into me and all of that. Every one of us want to act strong. Every one of us want to act like, no, I don't get down easily, I don't feel down easily. But see, believe me, everyone gets affected after each disappointment, but it now depends on the way at which we handle it. There is nothing like I understand the name of disappointment. I understand what pain is. Nobody really understand pain. Nobody really understand those things pain causes. So one thing I want you to understand is that after disappointment, the thing that sets in is denial, denying that that pain is there, denying that you have something in deep down that you're not seeing. So the thing you need to do immediately after disappointment is accepting that there is a pain somewhere you need to take care of. Praise the Lord. Like, there is a pain somewhere that you need to work on. You need to understand the fact that you need you need healing. After disappointment, one thing you need to accept is that there is a pain. So like I was saying, I'm going to be sharing my own personal experience. I lost my dad in January this year, and it happened like a shock because it was something unexpected. I never expected that somebody that close to me was going to pass away. Do you get? So when it happened, I didn't cry because I was kind of figuring it out. I didn't believe it. I didn't believe that he was dead. That's why I said the moment after disappointment, the next thing is to accept the fact that there is a pain. And one thing that happened after his death, at first I was still living my normal life, believing that nothing happened. Anytime that thought sets in that this man is gone, I just want to believe that no, it's a lie. I had not accepted the fact that he had already passed. Do you get? So what the next thing you need to understand after disappointment is accepting the fact that there is a pain, accepting the fact that it has happened, and I need to move on. Praise God. So one thing about disappointment is that it hurts. Do not hide or pretend otherwise. It is better to admit that you are disappointed and confront the pain. Otherwise, it will fester. That was the basic thing that happened to me. At some point, I never knew that I was growing into depression. I never knew that that pain already hits deep, that I could not talk to anybody. I wasn't ready to speak to anybody. So after disappointment, after you have accepted the fact that there is a pain somewhere, you also need to speak to somebody. You need to talk to someone. Talk to somebody you feel you can trust. It could either be a mentor, it could be a pastor, it could be your friend, it could be anybody. But just talk to somebody you feel like you can trust with those words. You know, after mine, I actually went down into depression. I could not talk to anybody. Probably that was the major reason why I was down with depression. I later on spoke to some people. I spoke to people, and one thing you need to understand is that after disappointment, you need to go to people. Emphasis on talking to good people, not people that are going to hold you with the words you speak to them, not people that are going to actually talk about you behind your back and are going to like blame you for some things you tell them. At that point in time, you need people that will be very much realistic with you. At that point in my life, I thank God for good people that were around me. They were able to, like, always speak to me. At that point in time, this set of people were the same people that prayed with me. Praise God. At some point I was really losing my mind. When Bro Pelumi asked me to speak about what next after disappointment, I just smiled because I just felt like it's as if this man is in spirit, that I was actually going through some phase in my life, and I just thank God that I was able to overcome with good people and with some other things around me. So one thing again is that you need to be honest with God and be honest with the people you are speaking to. If you have decided to speak to people, you should understand that you just have to be open to them, because at the point at which you speak to them, you're speaking to them because you trust them. I know so many people will say that, how do I know people to trust? How do I know that I can trust these people? At that point in time, you just have to be very conscious about you healing. Do you get? You need to be very, very conscious about healing. So after you have acknowledged the fact that there is a pain somewhere, you need to look deep down and see somebody that can actually relate with you. Somebody you feel like would not judge you for the things you speak to them. And disappointment isn't just about losing somebody, mind you. Disappointment could come in any form. It could come from your spouse. Probably you've been dating somebody for like 5, 6, 7 years, and all of a sudden the person said, the Holy Spirit said, "You're not my wife," or the Holy Spirit said that we cannot marry, or the Holy Spirit said, there are some excuses some people give after they realize that you guys are not compatible. They will just look for something to shook, and you will now sit and say, could this even be the Holy Spirit? A lot of lies on the Holy Spirit. If the Holy Spirit were to be human that can speak, would have denied so many of us. Because when somebody comes to you and says that the Holy Spirit said and the relationship of 7 years needs to end, do you know where is that one coming from? It will bring you to this total shutdown. You'll not be looking at, is this the same Holy Spirit that is in me? Or you'll be confused at that point in time, because you don't even know what to do. But at that point in time, even if it is a heartbreak from your spouse or something, at that point you need to accept the fact that yes, it has happened. Acknowledge that part is where we call acceptance. Accepting the fact that yes, okay, this thing has set in. What is the next thing for me to do? At that point in time, if it is a disappointment from a spouse, what you need to do, I am actually talking based on what has worked for me and what I have read and listened to in time past. One thing I've come to understand is that what works for me might not work for you. Everybody just speaks based on experience and based on what they have actually seen or what they have read or to mentors at which they've listened to. So I won't categorically say that what worked for Mr. A will work for you, Mr. B, or work for me, Mrs. B. Do you get what I'm trying to say? So when an heartbreak comes at that point in time, what you need to do is to accept the fact that it has happened. You don't necessarily need to start going back to the person and saying that, please, 7 years. See, I want you to understand that it's somebody that broke up with you after 7 years of relationship. The person must have been nursing it for a very long time, but just add that boldness to be able to speak to you at that point in time. So begging or soliciting will not even, will not make sense at that point in time. So we are talking about what next after disappointment. I first of all said that you should accept the fact that the pain is there. You should also try to speak to people. Try to talk to people with positive vibes. You know that there are some people you will talk to that immediately you just
I think Sister Ferromi network is off. As we'll be waiting for,
She's
I
back.
just want to put this up to us. I hope we are jotting down some key informations. I hope we are
She's
getting.
back.
Okay, she's back. Okay. All right, ma. You can go on.
You're on mute. You're on mute.
Please,
I am
Opeyemi,
so sorry
please.
for the break in transmission. Yeah, so as I was saying, I said that after accepting the fact that there's a pain, speak to people. Speak to people around you. Speak to people that will be able to talk to you that has positive vibes. I jotted down here. I said choose positive vibes. Choose people who validate and understands your feeling and recognizes your contribution and hard work. People that are ready to do what, that are ready to talk to you, people that are ready to support you in every form, in every ways. At every point in time, you need to speak to people that at least they know what to say, they know how to talk to you, they know what you are going through, they have an idea, they have, they have the experience and they have the right words to say. Because there's some people you even talk to that they will actually add up to the pain you're going through. There are some people you talk to that they would probably be saying things out of context that might not even actually want you to even talk to somebody else. Praise God. So I said, I wrote down here that be honest with God and with people. In this season, we need help from our friends. We also need help from spiritual mentors. We need help from God Himself. So let them hear our cry. You will feel better realizing the emotion, and the Lord is present to heal the brokenhearted. I actually made reference to the Bible passage, Luke chapter 4, verse 18, talking about admitting the pain and letting God help you. The major thing is to let God help you. When you're facing disappointments like that, you need to accept the fact that it is only God that can help you. As much as you speak to people, as much as you've accepted the pain, you need to understand that it is only God that has it in His power to heal you of that pain. He is the only one that has it in His might to let that pain off your chest. So as I was saying, after I began to speak to people, at some points when my mind will go back to that incident, I would call my pastor then. I would call some brothers that I have around me. We would talk together. We would pray together. And after a while, I already feel good. I can remember even around last week, I woke up feeling so bad. The next thing I did was to listen to Pastor Femi Lazarus. I switched on my phone and I opened his message and I started, listening to him. And before I knew it, I was off the pain. So I also wrote here that you should confess any unrealistic expectations. Most disappointment stems from unrealistic expectation of ourselves, others, and God. We planned for something and it didn't happen. We prayed and God didn't answer like we thought. We set a goal but didn't meet it. Or someone broke their words or promises to us. I want us to understand something, that the reality of life is that we live in a fallen world, and ourselves, we are imperfect. Not like these people that we expect a lot from, not like they are perfect. Everybody is born to make mistakes. Everybody is born to do one thing or the other to us. I feel like personally, the kind of policy I have for myself and that works for me is the fact that I expect anything from anybody. Like I said at the beginning of this conversation, that disappointment cut across. It could be heartbreak, it could be losing someone, it could be, somebody not meeting up to the expectation, like you highly placed somebody and the person did not meet up to the expectation. Disappointment can actually come in different form. So at that point at which you expected something from somebody and the person was unable to, make it happen, you don't really need to like dwell in those things so much. The next thing you need to do is to look for an alternative. What can I do? What is the next step? How can I move on? What is the next thing to do? At every point in time, you need to be what? You need to be moving. You don't have to be stuck because, okay, something did not work out the way you want it to work. Somebody did not do the things they are supposed to do. Somebody did not, at every point in time, you should also even have it at the back of your mind that people will fail. Nobody is perfect. Even the world is not perfect. We have so many things happening in the world. So disappointment could actually come in different form. Disappointment is a word, but it has so many babies under. It could be anything. It could be in any form. It could be anything whatsoever that would happen. But the major goal is to understand that it will happen. How do I walk out of those pain? How do I walk out of those disappointments? Because if disappointment tarries, it leads to depression. I was talking to a patient, last week. I spoke to her when she came to the office. She said she was going through one thing or the other. She was having sleepless nights because her husband that traveled out of the country, he forgot about her and the kids here in Nigeria. And from there, she didn't see anybody to talk to. From there, it led to depression. She was going through a whole lot of things. And immediately, I started asking her questions like, what are the things you love doing? So after disappointment, after you have accepted that there is a pain somewhere and you've spoken to someone, you need to do what? You need to ask yourself, what is the next thing? You don't necessarily have to dwell in those things. Disappointment is something that would always happen, but dwelling in it is what will lead to depression. I asked her, what is that thing you are good at? She said she was good at tailoring, and but at some point, because her husband was going to travel out, she had to sell some of her machines. She has to do so many things just to make sure everything. She said, see, my sister, begin to work on how to get yourself a machine. Begin to work on how to get back your business together. Forget the fact that he has gone. He has done what he could do. Now work on yourself. After disappointment, the thing is to check yourself and look for that thing that you are good at doing, that thing that gives you passion. Work on it. At every point in time, those things that give you joy, those things that you see that when I do this thing, it gives me this sense of peace. It gives me this sense of happiness and joy. Those are those things you should concentrate on. Find yourself in environments that are peaceful. Find yourself in places that would help you to do what? To unlearn the things you have once learned before. The moment she spoke to me, immediately she had to borrow some loans, and last week she was giving me updates that she had already started her business back, and one or two customers are already contacting her because of the Instagram page she opened and all of those things. When you keep dwelling in disappointment and dwelling in that pain, you will keep it will keep weighing you down till it finishes somebody. One thing about disappointment that I have noticed is that it reduces you to nothing. One thing I have discovered, it will reduce you to the fact that you will lose your self-esteem, you will lose your self-worth, you will lose a lot of things. At that point, when before I started talking to people, I began to I stopped believing in myself. I used to be this very vibrant person that everybody wants to talk to, everybody wants to be around and everything. At that point in time, I began to withdraw. I didn't want to talk to people. I didn't want to do anything, and And I was like, okay, what do I want to do? I began to do things that I love doing. I began to go back to the things that I know that gives me passion. I began to do so many things that I know that, yes, it will help me. So lastly, I just want to talk about return to your first love. You know, after all of this thing, after talking to people, after doing the things that gives you passion, after doing the things that give you joy and everything, there is one person that takes away pain. There is one person that takes away all these things, disappointment. He heals you of all of these things. This person is God on. I have in there that like the servant in Matthew 18, we can't walk off our debt. Yes, while we were all sinners, Christ died for us. Since we are saved by grace through faith, not of works, lest anyone should boast, we must return to him who loved us and washed us from our sins in his blood. You know, at every point in time, after we have tried all of these things, after we have tried talking to people, the person we need to go back to is Jesus Christ. He is the only one that can, he is the one we call the lifter of burdens. He would lift up our burden. He is the only one that can help us heal. He is the only one that can help us heal from those pain that our spouses has caused us, those pain that loss of somebody has caused us. It is still this God we can go to. It is still Jesus Christ that can help us. And I pray in the name of Jesus, may the Lord help us in the name of Jesus. For as many that are going through pain, as many that are going through one disappointment or the other, I pray the Lord will heal us tonight in the name of Jesus. The Lord will give us He will grant us the grace to be able to come back to Him. He will speak to us. He will speak to us and help us heal in the mighty name of Jesus.
Amen.
Thank you so much, Mercy Conference. Thank you so much, Bro Sampel. Thank you so much, Bro Taiwo. Thank you so much, Bro Joshua Ditsunji. God bless you. I really want to appreciate everyone that took out time to be a part of this session. God bless you. God bless every one of us.
Wow. Thank you so much, Miss me. Thank you. I mean, I've learned a couple of things right in this section. Anybody can be disappointed at any point. Like everybody should just be ready for it. Thank you so much, Ma. So we want you to rest. Let questions be coming in. So we'll take questions for the other questions we have, so that as we're taking those questions, you are resting before we get to the questions for you, Ma. So please let questions keep coming in. And I also noticed there was a link sent by Mr. Godwin on Land on LinkedIn. So a couple of people have not clicked on it. You can just click on it and check people's story. So I'm sure Mr. Dayo is on the call. I'll be starting the questions based on what we have here. So, okay, so we have answered what are the required documents. We have, okay, sir, what duration does this exam or test last for? I mean, what is their expiration date? Expiration period, sorry.
All right, thank you very much. I don't know if you can have all of them at once so that I don't take time answering and going back and forth. Or what would you prefer?
Yeah, I would want to just answer like we just 1 minute answer for each question, just like 1 minute answer, like a straightforward answer.
All right, thank you very much. So duration of each exam for the GRE is going to last for 5 years. Your TOEFL and IELTS will last for 2 years. I think that's pretty much it.
Okay, thanks, sir. The next question is, please, sir, can you assist with tips in writing scholarships essays?
Yeah, absolutely. So, but this scholarship essay that you're trying to write would be specifically tailored to what kind of scholarship you are working on. So, for example, if you are, there are quite a number of scholarships that are more need-based. So they want to see how you demonstrate need or financial scarcity or something like that. And while some scholarships are more about your competence, how smart you are, and how you've been able to, demonstrate academic excellence over time, and then your vision for the future. So I think the most important thing is to understand the purpose of that scholarship. Who do they give scholarships to? Do they give scholarship because of being an indigent person, because you don't have money, or just because your goals align with theirs? But the most important thing you should do overall is to figure out the intention. Like, what's the image of their general scholarship winners? You get, like, what kind of people are they trying to um, award that kind of scholarship, and you make sure that those essays make you into those kind of people. But apart from that, you also want to reach out to people who have won it on LinkedIn, um, and then ask them for samples. A lot of people will be willing to volunteer samples for you. So if you have 5 samples, you can just, train yourself to model some of their stuff, some of their essays over time, and then you get good at it. There's a whole lot of writing I could talk about passing, but I don't know if I have the time for that. But one thing that you want to do is to break down great works. So if you're trying to write anything, writing is hard on itself. Don't use ChatGPT. It's to break down great works. So you look at it's a 5-paragraph essay. You take the first paragraph and you write about what the writing is about. So, for example, they introduced themselves in the first line, and then they talked about some of their experiences in the next 2 lines and stuff like that. So you can just write about what you see about what they've written, and of course you can now use that particular framework to write your own. There are quite a number of ways by which you can take other people's excellent writing to get your own even much better writing. But the best way to get better at writing is just to write and to follow great works. So you can always feel free to ask people for well written stuff that they had success with in the past.
All right, thank you so much for that. So the next question is, does this scholarship accept HND graduates too, or is only BSc certificates?
Absolutely. In fact, usually for folks who are coming to America, there is like scholarships for people who have HNDs, and that's awesome. Yeah, the US is usually provides a level playing field for folks coming from Nigeria. If you have an HND, if you have a master's degree, a bachelor's degree, you can come directly from HND to PhD in the US. So, but one thing that you may want to do is to get what we call a WES evaluation. So it's going to show that HND is equivalent to a US undergrad degree. And you can, of course, go from HND to a PhD directly. Thank you very much for that question.
All right, sir. So the last question here is, do we have a website we could get links to scholarship, or if you could provide some?
Okay, I could provide some, but that would be much later. Not much later, after the meeting and all of that. So Mr. Kolumi could share some of them. But one thing that you want to do is to just go online, check, US scholarship groups or China scholarship groups, or different kinds of scholarship groups. That's a way to start. And of course, another thing that you want to do is to check on LinkedIn, or Google or something like that. But apart from just looking for information, definitely look for communities, look for groups where people are active, not groups that are dormant, where the last comment was from 2022. Look for groups where people are really having conversations. You can even private chat those that are the most active. So yes, there are lots of them online. You go very far by searching for them on Telegram and on various platforms. But I'm going to send the links to Mr. Palumi after this meeting.
All right. Thank you. I will be expecting that. Thank you so much, sir. I think that's all we have based on your section, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Dio. So we move to
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Fumilati. I don't know if she's on the call. Mrs. Fumilades, I'm saying we have a couple of questions for you, ma'am.
Okay, good evening, sir. I'm
All right.
still
Thank you so much, ma'am. So the first question here is, in Nigeria of today, how do we maintain a balanced finance structure, or is it okay if we experience fluctuation in our financial structure?
I think we already answered that question.
Okay, we answered that. Okay, The
Yes,
second one
we
is
talked about
having known,
having.
okay, having knowing these principles, I like, okay, we answered that too. As a student who depends on their parents and he or she is willing to venture into businesses, applying all these principles, how can he or she set up a business? Or I
Now,
think we answered that.
yes, we said something around it. So yes, yes, we
Yeah,
said
let's move
something
to the
about.
next question. Ma, in a situation whereby someone is unable to keep money personally, that is, we spend it out without a jiffy
That
to
question has
honestly,
also been answered.
good.
We talked about
Ma,
saving where you can't access it.
okay. So next we have in a situation whereby the profit is not even enough for paying bills, talk less of saving. How do we go about that, ma?
Now, the idea is not everybody start earning what we equate the available expenses or the readily awaiting expenses. It is wisdom to know how to ration whatsoever comes in. Now, while we were in secondary school, we were taught in economics scale of preference. Now, there are some of those expenses that are not necessary. And one thing with the Lord is that He will supply all your needs and not all your wants. All your wants are part of your expenses, but you must learn how to prioritize your needs. Do you get? Now, nobody actually in what we equate is or our wants. Everybody wants to drive Ferrari or everybody wants to live in Banana Island, but not everybody will live in Banana Island at the same time. So it is wisdom to know what comes in. What are the pressing needs? Start with the pressing need, the things you can't do without first. Then after those things have been attended to, then you check out what can you still fall back to. So there's nobody in this present day and time that will actually tell you that he or she does not need money. Even the rich still needs money. Do you get?
Yes.
So that's the idea. Nobody actually have more than enough to the point that his expenses, no. Even if it's not for daily runnings, it can be an investment opportunity or investment plan that he or she wants to actually venture into. And what he has at hand might not even equate to what the investment is requiring.
Yeah.
So that's the idea. Nobody in what the expenses would actually be like
All right.
nobody is. So another thing is you cannot be any less and be trying to live a high kind of life, like someone that is in 200,000 every month and paying a rent of 800,000. The person will actually live the year running on expenses without having any savings. So it's one thing to understand what comes in. How can I plan my life to equate this income? Do you get?
Yes, ma. Thanks so much, ma. So we have the last question here, which is, ma, how does a small scale business person who does not have a fixed income build a financial structure?
Now, I think one of the questions that was answered earlier actually addressed this. Now, when we talked about financial structure, one thing I was sure we outlined was the fact that it's not having a fixed amount tied to different aspects. It's not nobody's telling you to plan saving 100,000 in a month. No, it's far from it. It's just a ratio of or a portion of what comes in. If what you earn currently or what comes in from your small business is, let me say, a daily 500 naira or 5,000 naira, you can actually have maybe 10% targeted towards your savings. It's a structure, not a fixed amount. So you know that, okay, the day you earn 50,000 naira as a profit or anything, it's just the same 10% that is actually going into your saving. Your 20% is going to expenses. Your 30% is going to investment. That's actually the idea about financial structure. And I think that part was actually emphasized on, that no one is actually telling to actually set out a fixed amount to different aspects of your expenses or your financial plan, but rather a fixed ratio or proportion. That's the only way it can work. Because if not, you don't know what your earning tomorrow might be, especially for those who have little businesses. It can just be a 1,000 naira income that you had in a day. You know that 200 out of that income. So when you have a proper record, that principle of accounting, it will help you to know the total amount of profits you actually made over time and what ought to have been saved at the end of that period. I do hope
Uh,
that answered
yeah,
that question.
yes, thank you so much, Ma.
There was one of the
That-
questions that I said
okay,
I was going to address
come
later
back.
on, but
Okay,
maybe when after the section now, we can actually have a way of reaching out to that particular person that asked the question. Person that actually asks question around raising capital for a business idea he
business.
or she has. Yes.
Y-
I would
Yes.
actually love to actually speak to the person heart to heart beyond
Okay,
the
that
conference.
is Sister Jai Esther. Can you just
Yes.
send me a message probably after the meeting, or just reach out to Mr. Joshua? I mean, you just got an opportunity to have a section with her, and that's a great one. So thank you so
So
much, Ma. That's all
thank you, sir.
we have question for you, Ma. Thank you so much, Ma. So
Thank
Mr. Godwin Olonshola, we are moving to you. We have about 2 more questions here that was sent on WhatsApp. So I don't know if Mr. Godwin is still on the call. Okay.
Sure, let's do
So
that.
the number one question is, how do I get communities that could sponsor getting me a laptop to start tech? I'm from a poor background. So
That is
that's
very interesting. That is very interesting.
Uh,
Do I have any practical steps as to how you do this? I'm not sure I have a very, very good answer in any ways. But what I would probably recommend, or what I know people do, is stay active on Twitter. Some bigger people in tech tend to like do giveaways once or twice, but I'm not very sure how amazing that is. So you could probably give that a try. What I think might probably be a little bit more helpful is for you to find a way to actually gather resources, right, from people that you know within your network, right? Once again, it could be like a 6-month journey for you. It could be like a 12-month journey for you, where you could probably tap into the people that you have within your circle. And also, ultimately, actually, I believe so much in the power of you praying and looking up to God, and something will definitely come out true. So, if it's a type of community, things happen on Twitter, giveaways here and there on Twitter once in a while. I don't know how effective it is. I would actively recommend that you look through your network. There is somebody that will probably be sympathetic enough to your plight, and ultimately, I would recommend you pray to God.
all right, sir. Thank you so much for that, sir. So the second question here is, I want to get into tech, but I'm confused on the path to follow. What aspect of tech can I get into? What
I think,
aspect of tech can I get
okay.
into?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. I think this is a very, very good question, and it's pretty common. I think everybody goes through it, right? What I am doing right now in tech is not what I started out with. And if you probably talk to 5 software developers, or probably 5 people in tech, they'll tell you that what they are doing right now is 4 out of 5 of them will tell you what I'm doing right now is not necessarily what they started out with. But what I would encourage you to start out with is the easiest thing for you to learn. Is the easiest thing for you to grasp, and there are very limited options with that. And by what I mean by limited thing for easiest thing for you to learn is probably look around the people that you have around you, that are what the people around you are doing. So if you are in a place where the people around you are doing maybe this particular thing, that's probably the easiest thing for you to learn. If you have a network that tends towards that thing, it's probably easiest for you to pick that up. Over time, by the time you're able to grow your foundations, you can then tap out into whatever thing that you feel, oh, this is more insightful for you, this is more passionate for me, and then you can build on that. So I would encourage that you just tap into the people that you have around you, who is more available to kind of like guide you here and there, and then you pick that up and start from there. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. Thank you so much, sir, for that. That's the two questions we have here. The other question has been answered in your answer. So that is
Thank you again,
the two
guys.
questions we. Thank you so much, sir. So Mr. Godin has sent me the slide for the lecture, and those that will be needing it. I don't know how Mr. Joshua will come. We send it to everyone. So let's quickly take questions from Sister Miss Ferami, so that we could just do an overview. Okay, and then we call it a day. Okay. Okay, I can. How can some? Okay, now the first question for Miss Fermi. Okay, yeah, you're
Yeah.
on the line. So the first question I'm seeing here is, how do we overcome the challenge of how to talk to people, knowing what to say, the fear of using the right words in expressing myself, spoken English maybe, the fear of rejection.
Oh, okay. I actually saw the question earlier too. I will just say this briefly. I feel like as a person, you actually have to have this self-love for yourself first. Because one thing is that having that fear in you actually would reflect to even the person you are speaking to in the first place. I feel like as a person, you have to have this self-love for yourself. You need to have this self-confidence in yourself. You have to have this self-care for yourself, and you have to have this self-esteem. You need to have this esteem for yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You need to know your self-worth in the first place. I feel like with that, it builds this aura around you. It builds this confidence around you, that even when people you are communicating with sees the aura, sees the confidence, sees the love you have for yourself, you know, take away every form of rejection that might actually come to their mind. But you as a person, you need to first of all work on yourself, work on your self-worth, work on yourself, on the love you have for yourself, work on the esteem you have for yourself. And I feel like with this, when people realize how highly you've placed yourself, I don't think anybody would want to reject you or anything. So the things boils down to working on yourself, working on your self-worth. And I pray the Lord helps you in the name of Jesus. So I hope that.
Thank you so much for that, ma. So I think that this your answer also answered this. How do we make talking to people an habit when it's difficult to find words to express ourselves? I guess it's sort of like related.
Yeah, yes.
Can you just buttress to it?
Okay, the thing is that can you recap the question so I think I can check here myself. Okay, how do we make talking to people an habit when it's difficult to find words to express? It still boils down to your self-worth and your self-confidence. You know, you need to understand that yes, you've got this. You need to have this confidence in yourself. You need to have this self-worth. You need to have the esteem for yourself. That love must be there for yourself. It's like automatically builds the aura and confidence while talking to people. The thing people wants to see actually in conversation is the confidence at which you talk with, not necessarily when the confidence is there, it keeps you flowing, like it keeps those words coming. It keeps, it makes people want to even listen to you. I feel like that's the best thing you can do as a person. The self-worth and the self-love is the first thing you can actually do to work on yourself. And with this, it just builds the aura and it builds the confidence. So I think that also answers the question, Brother Samuel.
Thank you so much, ma. So we move to the very last question. No, about 2 questions to go. Just think
Okay.
that we betrayal from friends. Please, let's the answer for this, let's be brief as possible. Betrayal from friends or one we love can be so overwhelming. How do we stand to face this situation and the people?
Okay, I feel like first of all, you need to understand that anything can come from anybody. Like you should expect anything from anybody. One thing is that what works for me is that I expect anything from anybody. I don't necessarily believe that there is somebody out there that cannot betray me or that cannot betray the trust that we share. One thing I also want to chip in is that you should learn how to communicate. The moment you discover something like that, communicate with this person in question, try to find closure, try to understand what happened and everything. I feel like in a way it gives you a form of relief. That is if it is necessary. If it is necessary, try to communicate with the person, because I feel like communication works and goes a long way. And also try to understand and expect anything from anybody, and just try to move on with life, and just see it as one of those things that happens in the journey of life. So that's it basically.
All right. Thanks for that, man. So last question, just like a 1 minute answer to that, like a direct answer. Um, how about you trying to get over your disappointment in one way or the other, and people still talk down on you? What will I do, or you do? Just like a 1 minute answer, man.
Okay, the thing is that getting over disappointment and people still talk down on you, I don't feel like you should listen to the judgments people pass across to you. Exactly do you feel about yourself? How exactly you feel about yourself is what matters the most. I want you to understand that after a disappointment, trying to move on is one thing. I have actually said earlier on. Try to find yourself, discover yourself, get back your self-esteem, get back your self-worth. And it doesn't even matter what people say, it doesn't matter how people look at you. The moment you have that esteem, you have that confidence back in yourself, I don't think anybody can actually look down or talk down on you. It depends on how you see yourself. See yourself rightly, see yourself in the best way at which you can. Build the confidence in yourself, and everybody will work with it.
Very true. Thanks so much, ma. So I have 4 questions in my DM already, but I want to seek that we book a section with you so that you could have a time with those people. So you just answer a couple of questions. We want to get everything done by 9 o'clock. So but Joshua, please, over to you.
Wow. Tonight has been awesome. We have years since 6 p.m. and we have learned a lot. It has been a great section. Thank you, Mr. Dayo, once again. Thank you, Mrs. Kumlade. Thank you, Mr. Godwin. Thank you, Ms. Opeyemi, for your section. Thank you for acknowledging our invite. And also, I would say thank you to everyone that has deemed it fit to join us on this meet tonight. I hope we have gotten one thing or the other from this meeting. Basic conference, the sole purpose of this mission is for us to help people. And I'm very sure 1 or 2 things is in our mind that we want to share, 1 or 2 things in our mind. There are goals that we have set that we want to achieve. So I'll be putting down a personal email address in the comment section now. If you have anything that you want to share with the organizers of this great mission, just drop it there, drop it in the email. We will get across to you immediately. So thank you very much once again. I'll be bringing on Mr. Taiwo now to round up and give us the close remark.
So
All
yeah,
right.
before Mr. Taiwo comes in, sorry. So what we say, one of the vision for this the movement to actually help people with audios. So what he was trying to say is it made us drop in the comment section. After this meeting, think of your goals, what you want to do next. If it needs like an assistant, whatever it is, then I'll send it to that mail. Then whatever God I want to do, whatever you do, for my name. That's what we're trying to say. Back to you, sir.
All right. Thank you. And thanks to all the facilitators. I am really blessed tonight. And one major thing that still lingers on my heart is that simple question. And I believe it goes across all the section that has been explained so far. And the question is, who is coming to save you? Academically, in your pursuit of your career, who is coming to save you? Financially, who is coming to save you? in your career path, who is coming to save you, and after disappointment, when you are depressed and all that, who is coming to save you. You have a whole lot of responsibility on you. Wake up and rise to the responsibility. Thank you for joining us. Thanks to all our facilitators. Thank you for sharing your insight with us. Thank you for blessing us. And we pray may the Lord bless you in the name of Jesus. And to every participant, we really appreciate your presence. Now means thank you. And I want to remind you that it does not end here. Everything we have learned, let us apply and make our life better. Mercy Conference is a blessing to us. What next program? That big question in our heart has been answered. That question in my heart has been answered. I am hitting the ground running as soon as possible. Thank you all, and we pray we meet in peace, in greater heights, in the name of Jesus. God bless you. See you some other time.
Thank you so much. So a couple of people got, we sponsored about 50 people data to attend this meeting, and then we did not even see them. So people took our data and they ran away. No wala. But I'm very sure that those that are
Oh,
here,
I got the data
those
when
that are
I'm
here.
here.
Okay, thank you so much. That's fine. Do we also have another person that got data and is here?
I,
All,
I don't actually
all right.
know, but I think I saw a data.
Yes,
Thank you, sir.
I got
We
it
really,
too, and
All
I'm
right.
here.
we really
All right.
appreciate. We really
Thank you so
appreciate.
much.
God bless you, conveners. God
I
bless
got
Mr.
the
you.
Daddy.
data
Thank you
soon,
so much,
and
Mr.
I'm
Godwin.
here.
Thank you so much, Mr. Feromi. We really appreciate.
Thank you. Thank you.
What next
Thank you.
2.0 is coming. Thank you so
Thank you.
much. Have a good night, rest everyone. Cheers. Bye.
Thanks, everyone.
Mercy
Bye.
Conference is
Yeah,
also
thank you,
coming.
sir.
Watch
Thank you,
out.
sir.
Mercy Conference. A physical meeting is coming soon. Please don't forget. If physical meeting is coming soon, Mercy Conference. You don't want to miss that. It's a big conference God is cooking, and it's a big project on us. God is helping us, and we love to have you there. God bless you. Thank you for joining us today. We are grateful to have you around. God bless you. Thank you. See you some other time.